Bruins, Revs, and Patriots.
Touchdown, Patriots.
Boston's home for sports is 98.5 The Sports Hub. Easily Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
The Celtics now lead Cleveland 3-1 in their second-round playoff series after a 109-102 win at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse last night. Jason Tatum scored 33 points and added 11 rebounds.
We made timely shots. And, even the ones that we didn't necessarily make, some of those kick-out threes, just good execution. Sometimes you don't make shots.
Jaylen Brown also added a big three-pointer late. He finished with 27 points in the win. The Cavaliers were without Top Gun Donovan Mitchell thanks to a strained calf. Game 5 is back at TD Garden tomorrow night. Oklahoma City rallied to beat Dallas last night 100-96. That best of 7 even at 2 games apiece. In hockey news, it's do or die for the Bruins. They visit Florida tonight, down 3-1 in that second-round playoff series. Brad Marchand missed Game 4 with an upper body injury, but did skate yesterday and accompany the team down to Florida. Judd Surratt and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 on the New England Honda 98.5 The Sports Hub Bruins Radio Network. Last night, Carolina beat the Rangers again 4-1 to force a Game 6. Dallas won in Colorado 5-1 to take a 3-1 series lead. The Detroit Lions have re-signed quarterback Jared Goff to a 4-year contract extension worth up to $212 million. And the Red Sox lost for the 7th time in 10 games. They came up short to Tampa Bay at Fenway Park 5-3. Nick Pivetta faces the Rays tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti and Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, the hair doctor of Hardy and Brian Scalabrine at 1-800-GET-HAIR. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com. Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. Hello. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. 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 Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Let's talk about cheese.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
What the
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, you sweet.
Nothing like a good tushy.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch the show on YouTube. It's as simple as going to YouTube and searching 98.5 The Sports Hub. It's an exciting time to be watching the show. Many stunts going on in the station. We're lighting our balls on fire like Steve-O. It's a whole thing. It's a whole situation over here.
Wallach wasn't on that text chain last night.
You will be lighting your balls on fire this morning. Jonathan, if you did not know that.
That's at 8:20? All right.
Since your friend canceled,
yes.
Jeff Goodman at 4 a.m.
Yes.
But
what?
The good news is I brought in the good rubbing alcohol, and it burns hot and quickly and bright flame. It's the 90% isopropyl alcohol.
Okay.
So you douse your testicles with that, you light a match, and because you're my friend, I brought you a little blankie.
Oh.
And you snuff the flames out quickly.
Yeah, because you throw water on it, it just might spread.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Don't do that.
Yeah. 617-779-0985. How much stuff did you guys light on fire when you were children?
A couple of things.
So
the front lawn.
Yeah,
Does that
so
count?
you did, yeah. So was it like a dry day?
It was a
dry month.
Whatever you do in the suburbs, you get bored. Just,
Well, kids aren't like that really much. And in fact, when my son says it's because my daughter, my daughter doesn't talk about it as much. But like when my son says he went out with his friends and they got kicked out of stores, I'm like, God, good. like general mischief. Like you should be doing like mischief.
Up to a point. You don't want to get into the same stuff that we did a generation ago.
Well, no, because the consequences, even my kids say like, wow, the consequences are so much worse now. We had this park. I lived in a subdivision, and there was a park, a fairly large park, like in the subdivision. This is how they made them back then. They don't have them really like that here. Yeah, because like in Detroit, did you have a subdivision? No, you were on a dirt road.
No, there was
Subdivisions.
Yes,
in
that's
high school halls,
in the
shopping.
I would go and play.
Be cool to be cast out.
I'd go play video games by myself while the cool kids all drank in the car.
Where'd you go? Simulation Station, Aladdin's Castle. Where'd you go?
I don't even remember the name of the arcade that was in Farmington Hills. The Marvelous Marvin's Mechanical Museum, which is still there.
Huh.
That's the place where I got the car that hit me with the butt of the gun originated from. But there's this big park, and it didn't like rain for like a month, and my friend dropped a match on the grass, and it erupted in flame, and like there was a big brush fire, and he had to go to the fire department like every Saturday for 2 months. And sit at the fire department.
Like community service type of thing.
Yeah, I don't even know if he did anything, but he just had to sit there. But I told you we would make napalm.
Right.
And then, but the thing about napalm is all it really does is just burn constantly. Like, and you can't put it out. You want to talk about putting a blanket over it, doesn't do anything. Like, you can't put it out. You throw water on it, it won't go out.
So you make napalm with like gasoline and frozen concentrated orange juice?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all you do. No, it's styrofoam and gasoline.
Oh.
Basically. You didn't have the Anarchist Cookbook?
No.
You didn't have a friend with the Anarchist Cookbook?
No.
Oh, are you aware of the Anarchist Cookbook?
Only by name, but it was like literally like recipes in there for making destruction items.
It's surprisingly boring. There's copies of it online, like PDF copies.
Yeah.
That you don't have to pay for. A good chunk of it is getting free calls on payphones. So like there's a lot of boring stuff. But a lot of the stuff
Here's what you do if you want to create anarchy. Place a collect call. And while the operator has the party on their line, you just say, "Mom, come pick me up." And she doesn't have to accept. Free call.
Yeah, and it was like these major ways of rigging phones and stuff. It's all antiquated stuff. But they had how to make napalm. So we would just light napalm on fire, try to put it out, and get bored, and then just be like, okay, and then just leave the fire burning. And then they had this thing where you cut a hole in a tennis ball, and you take – this is how bored we would be. I've talked about this on the air before. Imagine your kids having the patience to do this. So you buy like 1 million bottle rockets.
Okay.
You got a bunch of wooden matches and some sandpaper and tennis balls. Right. You cut a slit in the tennis ball.
Right.
Then you cut up all the gunpowder out of the bottle rockets.
Like 1,000 of them.
Yep. And then you cut all the tips off the wooden matches, and then you put sandpaper in the tennis ball. You throw it against the wall, and ideally it's supposed to Nicholas, the phone's ringing. And then ideally when you throw it against the wall, the matches hit the sandpaper, it ignites the gunpowder. Obviously, it doesn't work. So you just end up dousing the tennis balls in gasoline and then throwing them around, which is ultimately what you do.
Right. We had fireworks starting like the moment school let out. We would have fireworks. And I remember more than one summer, my mother saying something to the effect of a little early to be starting with the fireworks because it was, June 10th or whatever. And we would still be going. And by the time it hit August, she'd be like, I don't know how you still have some left, but, that's enough because that's what we would do.
Where'd you get them?
Probably Mark or Heath Williams. Because they were the true ne'er-do-wells of the neighborhood, and they could get anything.
Yeah, like that was my Matt Dumas. He had a crossbow arrow stuck in his wall. Things haven't worked out so well for him. Yeah, he's had his chemical issues in prison. Damien, go ahead.
Hey, Freddie, Hardy, what's going on, bro?
Hey,
What's
how you
up,
doing?
man?
Hey, Fred, I got a pretty surprising story. So we got the Anar's cookbook, buddy of mine. So we go through it. It is pretty boring. But one of our friends was in the military, so he gets a hold of it, and we build a pipe bomb, about 6 feet long, put an air fence in the backyard in the local city in Providence over here, where there's kind of gun violence around the time, 96. So we light the sucker off. Next day, we see about 3 black and white suits there. FBI showed up, man.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I have a friend. I've told this story before, Damien. I have a friend who's a doctor now, and they used to screw with this kid's house. They're the guys that made the bombs that you didn't have to light. They were like chemical reactions, and that they scared me enough. Yeah, they scared me
You put in the
enough.
bathtub?
Well, this was you took a gallon. I don't remember how they made it, but you took a gallon, like those plastic jugs that milk comes in, and then they used to make these bombs. But I just remember it scared me enough that because I'm like, you're gonna blow yourselves up, like you're not even lighting anything. And one day,
That was no joke.
yeah, so they would screw with this kid, and then finally they just doused this huge tree in his front yard with gas and lit it on fire. And the garage door, and they hid across the street like idiots. The garage door opens, the family peels out, and then 20 cop cars come. It was a big deal. It was in the newspaper and stuff. And so that was the last fire that I recall anyone lighting. And they were old. They were 15.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be like, let's see if this burns, let's see if that burns. But dousing a tree in a kid's yard with gasoline.
Well, they
setting it on
realized
fire.
they had made a mistake because they felt they weren't complete psychos. One of them's a physician, a surgeon now, and
Dr. Death.
he's Jack Kevorkian. Actually, I grew up with Jack Kevorkian. He's a Michigan guy. Jack Kevorkian and the Suicide Machines.
My wife will swear to this day that she saw Jack Kevorkian in Las Vegas. That's when we were living there. She came one day. She's like, I saw Jack Kevorkian today. I said, he's in prison. He is in prison in a federal prison
every
somewhere.
creepy old man looks like Jack Kevorkian.
yeah.
Larry, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, guys? So I used to have a crazy uncle. So one night we were lighting fireworks off, and he was like, hey, I can show you something a little better. So he took the shaft of the bicycle seat. We went to the store, got match heads, packed it down. He's like, it's basically a pipe bomb. But we let it off in Lynn at about 11 o'clock at night, and it blew up the bench in the park. Nobody showed up.
Really?
Nobody showed up. The other guy, FBI down in Providence. It was just another night in Lynn.
Yeah, that shows you that the things go by, get by.
Yeah, it's another explosion. It was no big deal.
Yeah, they lit that tree on fire in the newspaper. It wasn't the Detroit Free Press. It was the Farmington Observer, but it was arsonists take over city or something. There was this. It scared the crap out of it. It scared all of us, so we stopped. That was the last fire anyone lit. But it was about time. We were about to get our driver's license. You're still lighting fires when you get your driver's license. But people did have crazy uncles.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole other story. Crazy uncles. Uncle Mo was my friend's uncle. He tried to set my nose.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's just saving you a trip to the doctor.
Yeah.
He thought he was helping.
What hurts worse than getting your nose broken?
Having it
Having
reset.
Uncle Mo try and
Having
set
Uncle Mo set it by using his thumbs and jerking it around.
Yeah. I saw this happen in a movie once. Hold still.
Yeah.
I saw this in a Rocky
Well,
movie.
he learned it in quote-unquote jail because they're always resetting each other's noses in jail. Yeah, I got hit with a pool ball, not violently, I know people were screwing around, and my nose got broken. It's been broken a million times, and it got broken by a pool ball. And then Uncle Mo was like, "Oh no, you don't have to go to the doctor. You don't have to go to the doctor." He's not my uncle, and he took his fingers and put them on my temple, and then took his thumb, and he's like, "All right, this is gonna hurt," and he just managed my nose around.
Oh, God. Oh. How old were you?
14, 15.
Yeah.
Jeez. This is around the time I let girls pierce my nose and pierce my ears. I was like basically a doll for them to play with.
The stuff that we did, it's not like we grew up in the 50s either. I like broke my arm. It was like a sprain and a break and fell out of a tree because that's what we do. We climb trees, take our bikes up into trees, trying to jump down. So it had to be cast, and it was set, for a long time. And when it was finally time to take it off, we just took it off at home. We weren't going back to the doctor for that. And the woman next door may have had some medical training at some point. Like, you don't need to go to the hospital for that. And they cut the cast off my arm.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like what I would do.
It's just, oh, man. Could you imagine if your kid, like, my son's been in a cast. I'm sure your kids have had injuries or something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Everything is like follow-ups. You have to go to Children's. No, today we're going to Children's in Waltham. We don't have to go to there. Oh, we're going to actually go to Mass General for this today. No, like when we when we were kids, you took care of a lot of that yourself. Stitches. I never went to a doctor to have stitches taken out. I always took them out myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a bunch of stitches, but I would get them taken out at the doctor.
No, you just snip one in and you just kind of pull them out.
Ew.
That's healed up enough, sure.
Ugh. Yeah, that's bad. That's almost neglectful parenting.
Well, a lot of it I would do myself, and that's what got me started down the road at my lifelong love of home surgeries. Oh, do I love it.
Just another task.
Yeah.
Another task that needs to be completed.
That's right. Another thing to do today.
That's why he doesn't have insurance. He's like, just give me the money.
Oh, God. Right. What a scam that is.
Yeah.
You guys don't pay for health insurance, do you?
Did your mom used to yell at you when you got hurt, like scream at you? My mom used to scream at me like when I came home. I told you when I came home with the kid hit me with the butt of the gun. What'd you do? I talked to my therapist about that last week. What'd you do? What'd you do?
Well, if you got pistol whipped, I hate to say it, Fred, but not long into the conversation, that is my question too. What'd you do?
Chaldeans. He's from Michigan. Chaldeans. So what do you think I did?
Nothing.
I existed.
Yeah.
I really started something big.
You went to the movies, probably.
No, I went to Marvelous Marvin's Mechanical Museum, and it had the nerve to be in the parking lot.
Okay, well, the same mistake. Or you went to the mall.
Yeah, you went out in public.
At any one of those, you had it coming.
The Chaldeans in Detroit were exceptionally violent folk.
Very, very mean.
And strangely, it lasted well into their 20s, and they were not afraid to attack minors.
Who are these people?
It's a perfectly wonderful group of people, but they're Catholic Iraqis, and they were in Detroit, a lot of them, and they were some of them would be territorial and mean.
Okay.
They broke away from the Assyrian church in 1778, Wallach.
Okay.
And
right.
There are many dynastic conflicts along the way. They tried to fully unite with Romania, but it didn't work.
I wasn't nearly as fast with the Wikipedia page as you
I've
are.
never even bothered to research it like that.
Oh,
Isn't that
Rome,
funny?
not Romania. Whatever.
But
all I know is that there are a bunch of kids who were very, very mean to us for no reason whatsoever.
And they all had.
My friend Jeff Maley and I went to the movies. We went to Showcase movie theater, and we were leaving the parking lot, and I went to pull out, and like somebody was driving by, so I stopped. I stopped as they were driving by. A guy got out of his car, went around to the passenger side, punched Jeff Maley full in the face because we had the windows down. I jumped out and grabbed a golf club out of my back seat because I swore they were coming for me next because I had a golf club.
Of course you did.
And a baseball bat.
Even then.
The baseball bat was on the floor, and there were like three guys, and they were coming to, like, I thought they were going to try and kill
You're not a baseball player. You're a golfer. Use your correct tool. Yes, I understand.
Nothing. Would get beat on for no reason.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And like guys in, like, when you were in high school or middle school, like guys in their 20s, like they had massive families, and they would just like, my cousin's going to kill you. Like my cousin, and sometimes literally there was murder.
Fred, when I was doing my juggling and magic shows, I used to do them at the Little Caesars Family Fun pizzerias. Right? They changed Chuck E. Cheese for a while, rebranded Little Caesars Family Fun pizzerias. And I think there was one in Warren. Does that sound like the type of neighborhood or city that would have these type of young men we're talking about in these families? Warren, Michigan?
Warren is a maybe, sure.
Okay. And I remember doing a show one time, and it's like I'm doing my little tricks with the balloon animals. I'm like, here, take this. And, you know, the kid holds one end of the balloon, and I let go, so it kind of snaps. And this kid, he couldn't have been more than 7 years old. He may have been younger. He stood up with his other friend. He said, I'm going to effing kill you. And he stormed off, and he went to go get his brothers and his cousins. I'm like, show's over, kids. That's it. And he meant it.
And he meant it.
He meant it.
He meant it. And then I guarantee you that he would come back with at least 5 dudes like in their 20s.
That's how you knew it was time to go.
And that they would fight Hardy because of a 8-year-old saying that this guy flipped a balloon at me.
Right.
And they would
in the course of a magic show.
Yes. It was
interesting.
It was a bit of a to-do around us. But yes, what did you do? Well, I existed. I stood on had the audacity to stand in the parking lot of my neighborhood. All right, Hardy, the Celtics played last night.
Yes, they did. What an exciting contest. We'll talk all about it and nothing but that for the rest of the show, starting when we find out what happened last night.
Excellent. We will return.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Night.
Hey, what do you know? Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Jack Pocket. Download the app now and use code HUB to get your first lottery ticket free. All right, Hardy, there was a big-time basketball association game last night.
Yeah, the National Basketball Association is currently in their playoff tournament. It's not a single elimination, Fred. These are best-of-7 series, all of them.
Fortunately.
Yes. So for the Celtics last night, still without Kristaps Porzingis, taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were without. Was this a thing? Do we know this was going to be happening last night, Wallach?
He was listed as questionable after hurting himself at the end of Game 4, so it was a possibility. And then when he wasn't at shoot-around, people figured that it was a more distinct possibility.
Okay. Well, I was surprised by it. I thought, well, he's still going to play. I know he was dealing with something, but it's the playoffs, and you're the best player for the Cavaliers, Mitchell. You got to be out there. He was not out there. And even without Donovan Mitchell, the Cavaliers there, I almost called them the Guardians, jumped out to an early lead, a scare early last night.
Jason Tatum, his first touch, straight away against Max Strus, left-hand dribble drive, coming strong, he goes through him and Mobley, throws a bad pass to the corner, easily picked off by LeVert. Really bad turnover. Strus wide open, pulls up for three, and hits it. Immediate timeout by Joe Mazzulla, and I am right there beside him.
Okay, so good call by Mazzulla. Wait a second, it's an 8-2. You're just moments into this game. Yeah, call the timeout. Hey, what are we doing? We have everyone except for Porzingis. The one guy who can really hurt us on this team is not out there. Why are we down 6 at any point in this game ever? How dare you? So,
essentially, he's right. That's about it.
And it didn't take long to turn things around. The Celtics went on a 19-2 run that culminated in this.
Harris LeVert, dangerous inbound. It's ripped away from Dean Wade by Tatum. Bad pass by LeVert. Tatum, shovel pass ahead to Pritchard. Corner three, got it.
They boys coming to put the lights out.
It's a 19-2 Boston run. Celtics have an 11-point lead here midway through the first.
I didn't even hear it. I did the math in my head, Wallach. I said 19-2 run just based on the score. That's how my mind works.
That's completely awesome by you, Hardy.
It's beautiful. You have a beautiful mind.
It's a beautiful mind. Thank you very much. Drew Holiday adding some offense last night. This was good.
Three missed by LeVert. Holiday has the rebound. Through the center court logo. Angles to his left. He's going to pull up, shoot a quick three, and knock it down.
That dude has been so effective.
Celtics have matched their largest lead, up by 11 here early in the second quarter.
There were times when Cleveland got it close last night and even took the lead in the third quarter for a moment, but it really wasn't much of a threat. And Derek White, who was quiet for most of the game.
Derek White just launches a three and knocks it down. Maybe that's the one that gets him going. Cavs got crossed up defensively. They were playing White as if he was going to drive. Instead, he knocks down the three, and the Celtics have the lead back to 9.
They didn't get him going at all. He didn't look good defensively.
It's interesting you bring it. Well, apparently he left briefly with an ankle injury. Maybe that's the problem. But it's interesting you bring that up. That was the only shot he hit all night.
That was
the one. That was the one shot he made.
I was in the car for that one, and I was like, oh, maybe he'll get going, and he never did.
No. He was 1 for 6 from the field. He hit that 1 3-pointer, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 5 points for Derek White last night. That ankle injury, by the way, must have been the most minor ankle injury of all time. He was off the court for about 11 seconds. He went down the tunnel and was back before they could even really mention it.
Yeah.
So
you can't hold him back. He's no Donovan Mitchell. He's no Puss Couture. He's out there playing.
Yes. Good night for Jason Tatum. 33 points.
Yeah, good night for the Stars. Here's the thing is that I love that Maserati said that the title doesn't mean as much because there's no competition because it's got everyone all pissed off. And
hollow is the word he used.
It's just so great. Like, it just that he said that and everyone got mad at him. Like, it's funny.
He's very good at what he does. He knows
I think
exactly
he legitimately, I think he
doesn't believe that.
Come on. Well, I'll tell you this, is that obviously a championship will be fun and everyone will enjoy it. This is not exciting. This is boring. And it's not because I don't like the NBA. Believe me. I'm interested in what happens in New York tonight. There's I'm very interested in the Denver-Minnesota series.
Did you see last night Dallas and Oklahoma City?
I didn't. I know what happened.
But I mean, Dallas, Kyrie Irving was held to 9 points, and OKC had to scrap just to tie the series at 2 games apiece.
Yeah, they had I think they're double-digit.
14-point lead.
Yeah, they had to overcome a double-digit lead.
Shai Gilgeous hit a big shot late.
But look, it's not the Celtics' fault, but the teams that they've played now have played without their big stars in a bunch of these games. Jimmy Butler didn't play in any of the Miami games, and now you have Donovan Mitchell, who's the only star on Cleveland. I mean, Garland is a good player, but he's not a premium ticket player. Mitchell is the guy, and it's awesome, and the Celtics are the best team, and I hope they win every game, and I guess we could come on here and nitpick that, Cleveland was missing their biggest star, and they were missing Jared Allen, and they only won by 7. But ultimately, it's just not as fun. It's just not as fun right now. And unless they play New York in the Eastern Conference Finals, it's going to be boring again. The Indiana series.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's going to be Indiana that they're going to play.
I have a feeling it's going to be Indiana, too. And then there's no way they're going to lose to Indiana.
Nope.
There's no way. And then the finals will be great.
No, that's the thing. You look at the other side of the bracket. I mean, if you haven't been paying attention, the Knicks are limping here to the finish line. Jalen Brunson's playing, but he's hurt. They're missing Julius Randle.
They're missing 5 players.
They're missing Mitchell Robinson's out for the season.
Bogdanovich
is out for the season. He's got a hand or a wrist. I mean, they're missing a lot of guys. And Thibodeau refuses to play anybody more than 7 players. You figure if you lose a player, you add to the rotation. No, he just, instead of 9 guys, I'll play 8 guys. Instead of 8 guys, I'll play 7 guys. They're all tired. They're all playing 40, 45 minutes a game. And Indiana is younger and quicker and scores a lot of points. So I think Indiana wins that series. And then you have them in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics. Once again, not altogether. I understand what you're saying. Not altogether exciting, although I'll take whatever wins the Celtics can get.
I'm not
accusing you. I'm agreeing with you.
No, I know. But again, it's awesome. If you're a Celtics fan, it's fun. They win a championship, it's great. And these guys in Tatum will go way into a different category. Tatum will be one of the all-time great Celtics. There's a lot on the line. It's great. And there's no guarantee they'll win the finals.
No.
There's no guarantee that they'll
there are a lot of monsters out west. If Jokic, I mean, that Denver-Minnesota series is great to watch. That you face Jokic in the finals. We talked about this 3-4 months ago. You face Jokic in the finals, that's a problem.
I mean, any one of those teams theoretically could beat the Celtics. I don't think that some of them would. But
Oklahoma City gave them big problems during the regular season. Yes.
I mean, Denver's got 2 huge stars. I mean, there is.
Yes.
At least there's
a
storyline.
Impartial observer, and I'll just bring this up. You guys didn't grow up here. You're not necessarily Celtics fans. For an impartial observer, I can see where you're coming from.
But even as a Celtics fan, I mean, there are series that are boring, even if you like the team, and not as interesting as they could be. I mean, there's no way that there's not a part of you, John, that thinks they're losing this series.
No, they're going to win this series, and they'll more than likely win next series unless they get another key guy gets hurt. But I mean, I don't find it boring.
Okay. I mean, right.
Okay.
You enjoyed the 2.5 hours of television.
Well, let me tell you what I did not enjoy. And when we continue this, Fred, I will tell you the one thing that happened in the sequence during this game last night that makes me, and it happens a couple of times a year, I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, I can't stand this league. I can't stand this sport. The way that it's played, and something that happened during last night's game that was the time where I really had to tap out for a while. I said, it's not worthy of anyone's time or attention, what we were forced to sit through last night. But I'm not going to tell you right now.
Ooh,
that's a tease and a half right there.
And you know what it is, Wallach.
I do?
Maz texted me, he said, hold your ground, Fred. This is a no-win situation for the Celtics. They should be blowing out these teams.
Maz. Save it for your own show. Jesus.
He's not wrong. I mean, it's not as fun. It's just not as fun.
Maz is the best.
Do you think there's like a ton of like with that Bruins game we could do 4 hours because they got screwed and everything?
Right.
At least there's like a lot of juice. There's no juice. You can't hold on to the juice. There's no pulp of the juice.
I see.
So I don't think Maz was completely. I think.
What's the percentage?
Of what?
He texted me too. Tell Fred to hold his ground. He's very
Oddly
passionate about your passion.
Oddly enough, I didn't get a text.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I wasn't texted about
You're
this.
a green teamer.
I see.
I love that Maz said it, and it got everyone so riled up. I just think it's funny. It got national attention.
I know, Maz.
Like boneheads. These people are so dumb. Bonehead sports radio guy says it doesn't matter. Like, all right, so he says it doesn't matter. What do you care? Like, what do you care? It's awesome, and I could see being a fan of the Celtics and getting pissed off. Like, that's fun. But like some guy in Indiana, like, wow, look, get a load of this guy. Shut up, you dumbass. Like, go pick hay.
He's awesome.
Yeah. All right. We'll be right back.
Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics got 33 points from Jason Tatum. They beat Cleveland in Cleveland last night, 109-102. They lead that second-round playoff series 3-1. Game 5 is at TD Garden tomorrow night. Bruins got a big game in Florida tonight against the Panthers, down 3-1 in that second-round playoff series. Judd Surratt and Bob Beers have the Duncan pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Brad Marchand is with the team after skating yesterday, and Tampa Bay beat the Red Sox 5-3 at Fenway Park in the opener of a 4-game series. Sox have dropped 7 out of 10. They'll play the Rays in the same building again tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by your local New England Honda dealers. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
Tatum has been spectacular.
This is Jason Tatum.
Right corner against Embiid. Tatum for a 50-piece.
You're listening to the home of Boston Celtics basketball. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
big explosion.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
Which one do you want to start with?
I want to start with the second quarter last night, the point in the game where I began to really lose interest. Not just in the game, but it happens to me a couple of times a year in the NBA because something like this takes place.
Jaylen Brown attacks, switches to the right hand, runs it off the window, and it is. He goes crashing to the ground. And did Jaylen trip Strus as he was going back up the floor? Remember, we saw that in Game 2, right? The old Jordan Poole play in the NBA Finals a couple of years ago.
Now, well, they call this a flagrant.
Yeah, he definitely grabbed. Jaylen definitely grabbed the foot of Strus. That's a bad play by Jaylen Brown.
Oh, my God. Jaylen Brown is on the floor. Strus is kind of like straddled over him. He doesn't know what to do. His foot like brushes against the side of Jaylen Brown's head. Jaylen Brown makes this weak attempt to kind of like grab at his foot as he's going away. Stop everything. Just stop the game. Now we're going to go over to the scorer's table. Now we're going to turn our crappy little monitors around that we picked up at Best Buy 2 hours ago because they can't figure out how to do replay in the NBA. And we're going to have the officials huddle up, and we're going to talk to somebody, and we're going to talk to each other, and we're going to look at this, and we're going to look at a different angle. Would you all frickin' grow up? And part of the problem is it's juxtaposed with the NHL playoffs, which – I'm sorry, no sport can compare themselves to the NHL. These guys are out there playing with every single injury on the planet, and they're getting sticks and pucks to the face, and they go off for a minute, and then they go back into the game, and it never stops. Occasionally, a team will call one timeout in a game. Occasionally. They stop everything for basketball to examine this like it's the Zapruder film to see how bad this really is. You know how bad it was? It wasn't bad at all. And then they've got to fiddle F around with what type of foul is it? Is it a flagrant? It's away from the ball foul. Oh, there's still going to be one shot. Wait a second. I have a question about it. Who's taking that shot? That guy wasn't on the court when the foul took place. Would you just frickin' play? Could you maybe just stop stopping the game all the time and examining this stuff in minutia when nobody got hurt? There was no fight. There was no problem with any of it. Yeah, Strus got a little poly pissy pants over it, but Brown was pissed too because he had this guy straddling over him with his big size 18 Adidas shoved up against the side of his head. Just move on. Just move on. It ruins the watching process of the game. You can't watch it. It's impossible to watch.
I don't like that part of the game either. And usually that happens, and this is well gone over material, this happens in the last 2 minutes of any half or basically at the end of the game. The last 5 minutes of any NBA game take about 15 or 20 minutes. But
I wish I had timed it. I bet it lasted for 6 or 7 minutes.
No, it lasted a really long time. But I will also say this, even though hockey is continuous, and you're right, they play with a lot more, all these guys, you get the litany of injuries that people were playing with during the playoffs, and you're amazed that they were out there at all. The average hockey game is longer than the average NBA game. I mean, Bruins playoff game, I think the last one lasted about 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it didn't go to overtime. NBA games last less than that.
What's interesting about both sports is, and obviously, hockey, you hit someone in the face and don't get penalized, but is that how officiating can differ so much? Because there are NBA games, like there's been Philadelphia games early, like in that first round, where they just let stuff go and it gets extraordinarily physical.
Yeah.
So I don't know what. I'm not even positive, like, what grabbing a guy's leg, like, why.
You saw Embiid do that in the playoff series against the Knicks when Embiid was down.
Yeah,
and that was dangerous because he was trying to jump over him, and Embiid caught him in midair and twisted the ankle. That was a flagrant. That wasn't good at all.
Yeah, but there's worse things you can do to someone than there was a knee-to-knee play with Garland and Brown last night.
Setting a screen. I saw that.
No.
Well, that was earlier in the series, but
no, Garland, Brown tried to take a charge and they hit knees.
Yeah.
Like, that's would hurt at least. Like, someone grabs your leg, big deal.
But your point is still good in that the NBA basically don't allow defending players to touch offensive players at all, or it's a foul. They want 125 to 120 games. And that was pretty much an edict from the new commissioner who was following up on what David Stern was trying to do, because if you watch playoff games 20 and 30 years ago, you don't recognize it. Final score is 85-84.
You know what I'll say, though?
Well, just real quick,
Yeah.
the way they're reffing games now, Hardy, and I understand why it pisses you off. I don't like it either. They want to make sure that the scores remain up. They want to make sure that all players understand that there's a level of physicality you're not allowed to go to. And that's to allow more points to be scored.
Don't you? What was the most interesting series, though, you could argue, during the playoffs so far? I would say it was Knicks 76ers. And they let them play in that series. Like, they let them. The officials ultimately could have cost the 76ers a series. I didn't say it was well officiated.
Right.
But they let a lot of stuff go in that series. Like, that was a very physical series. And they did let Embiid get away, not at the end of games, but they let Embiid get away with a lot of stuff. Like shivers to dudes' heads when they tried to come through the lane. Like, there was a lot of stuff they let him get away with. I would make an argument that in the playoffs, not the regular season, who cares? The regular season, it's about high flying and long threes and stuff. Stars, which we've not been able to see during the playoffs so far. But if you're not going to have stars, at least let it get nasty. At least let it get mean.
They won't. And even though they did in that Knicks 76ers series, I think Wallach is right. They want the scoring up. They want the stars protected. And John,
what stars you protected in this game?
Well,
Strus?
that's true. I don't care about
the rules were different on this one.
I don't care as much about the total length of the game and the fact that NHL games take longer, because you've got a couple of intermissions thrown in the middle of that where you can go off and do whatever it is you want to do. From the sheer entertainment and being at home viewing process of it, the NBA is at many times unwatchable because of the stoppages and of the reviews and whose hand did it go. Just make the call. Just make the call and figure it out later.
Yeah, you need time limits like Major League Baseball does.
You know what
a certain
would fix
amount of
all
time
this?
to challenge and a certain amount of time the replay should last.
Here's what would fix this. Interesting games. Like, you don't mind the pauses and the fouls so much in a playoff game where it's tight and there's stars and there's a real chance to and there's a real chance to, like, for the team to maybe lose the series.
Cleveland doesn't have that really nasty guy that you hate.
Right. But if Donovan Mitchell plays, though, at least you go, oh, wow, Donovan. Like, in game 2, Donovan Mitchell was great. And you're like, oh, in the second half. And you're like, Donovan Mitchell, look at that. He's really good. At least there's that. I mean, you're relying on stars. None of us are going to complain like, wow, they really took a long time reviewing something in a close game in a series that's tight. Like, you're going to forgive all that. In fact, you'll probably be glad it happened because you want them to get the call right. Like they did in the Bruins game last night, 2 nights ago, when they reviewed it and got it completely on the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what's happening in this playoffs so far. And again, I like that people got pissed at Maz, but Maz has a point in a way. It obviously matters as much as any other title, but it's not fun right now.
You lost Embiid, Giannis, and Lillard quickly, and that would help.
And you lost Jimmy Butler, and then you didn't have Donovan Mitchell. I mean, these aren't interesting teams. These are boring teams.
But when we get to the finals, assuming the Celtics make it that far, when we get to the final, well, I mean, nothing's guaranteed. But assuming that it's all laid out for them, they should get there. And when they do, you're going to face 1 or 2 big-time stars.
Yes,
every
team that's left has stars, and that will be great.
Oklahoma City, as we were discussing earlier, they beat Dallas last night, 196. The Pacers will visit New York tonight. That series tied at 2-2. And Minnesota at Denver tonight, when it looked like Denver was just dead in the water.
That's the one to watch. You want to talk about stars. That's the one to watch.
Every road team has won. It's 2-2.
Yeah.
It's just this doesn't happen in the NBA.
We were talking about this earlier. Jokic figured something out.
That's what they're saying.
He figured something out, and he's back to being the best player on the planet.
Yeah, because
he looks really, really good.
Minnesota confused him the first couple games with 2 bigs, and everyone was saying how ingenious Minnesota was for, because everyone killed them when they traded all their picks for Gobert.
Well, that's the thing. They held Denver to 80 points without Gobert being on the floor.
Yeah,
that was the wake up call. Okay, now we're talking here. But Denver figured it out. Jokic figured it out.
NHL, we mentioned this just a bit as the Stanley Cup playoffs will resume tonight with the Boston Bruins. Pat Maroon mentioned something earlier as he was trying to figure out
how to slick back his hair more before games.
As he was trying to figure out how to serve many masters in this playoff series, and he was asked about it yesterday.
I'm damned if I do, if I'm damned if I don't. Listen, I mean, I'm sure everyone's wondering why I haven't done anything. I'll sit here and say it's not like I haven't tried or I don't want to do anything. I love my captain. I love the guys, and I think, trust me, it's a tough business, and everyone's looking at me to do something. And unfortunately, I tried. I am trying, and we can't really focus on that. It's over. It's done with. We got to focus on winning a hockey game now.
Would it be the worst thing in the world if Maroon, not now because they can't lose, but if Maroon in like Game 3 just would have gone out and just decked someone, gotten the 10-minute got a 10-minute penalty?
So he said that, and he was asked to follow up, and then he started getting pissed.
It's frustrating that you guys are trying to do a narrative right now for nothing, to be honest. Like, we got to win a game. That's what it comes down to. Unfortunately, what happened? We got to turn the page. We got to find a way. You can sit here and say I'm not doing my job. Maybe I'm not. But like I said before, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. And I don't want to put my team in jeopardy. I don't want to take a suspension. I don't want to put my team on a...
Take a suspension, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares if you're suspended?
Power penalty kill. I'm doing everything I can.
Yeah. Well, I don't doubt that. He had you playing with the first line in some shifts last game. I don't doubt that Patrick Maroon's doing what he can do.
The Panthers have the 3-1 series lead. They play Game 5 tonight in Florida.
Yeah.
Tonight, boys.
And by the way, the Hurricanes have won 2 in a row, which should make you a little bit happy.
It does. Makes me very happy.
Because I know you hate the Rangers, but also the fact that I don't know why you hate the Rangers so much. It's not like they're good.
No, I don't hate the Rangers. Hate the Rangers. I just think it would be funny as hell if Carolina pulled this off.
And everyone liked that Messier team. That was like a fun little story.
That was 94. That was a long time ago. It was 30 years ago.
I was in college. That's what I'm saying. They don't win. So great. I mean, good for them. But the fact that Carolina was down 3-0 and they've come back and won a couple games, maybe the Bruins can win one tonight. Maybe they don't pack it all in. I would hope so. Xanadu is on the line. Xanadu, please call back. We're going to talk about Sweeney later in the show. I know you're a school teacher, but walk out of the classroom. We have to break right now. We'll be back. In fact, you know what, Xanadu, you can hang on because maybe we will talk about this Sweeney thing here. And there's other stuff going on with the Bruins as we lead into tonight.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports
Hub.
Hub.
Hardy.
Yes,
Fred.
Well, the Celtics almost let a 15-point fourth quarter lead get away last night, but hung on for a 109-102 win in Cleveland. Jason Tatum scored 33 points and Jaylen Brown 27 for the Celtics, who saw the Cavaliers come back from down 13 in the first half and take a brief lead in the third quarter.
Give credit to Cleveland. They came out with great energy. They played fast. They played hard. Tried to speed us up. They tried to rattle us. And I think it worked in the first half. And in the second half, we composed ourselves a little bit better and pulled away a little bit.
Celtics now lead this playoff series 3-1. They host the Cavaliers tomorrow night. Oklahoma City beat Dallas 100-96 to tie up that playoff series at 2 games apiece. The Bruins will try to extend their season tonight when they visit Florida down 3-1. Brad Marchand skated yesterday. He flew down to Florida with the team. Judd Surratt and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Last night, Carolina beat the Rangers 4-1. They're now down 3-2 after losing the first 3 games of the series. Dallas won in Colorado 5-1 to take a 3-1 series lead. In NFL news, Fox Sports announced yesterday their first TV game will be Cleveland at Dallas on Sunday at 4:25 in Week 1. It is Tom Brady's debut on the network. Also, Detroit has re-signed Jared Goff to a 4-year, $212 million contract extension. And Tampa Bay beat the Red Sox 5-3 at Fenway Park in the opener of a 4-game series. Same 2 teams will play again tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Diabetic Care. Are you using a Freestyle or Dexcom continuous glucose monitor to manage your diabetes? Eastern Diabetic Care of New England provides awesome customer support with on-time home delivery of all your supplies. Visit easterndiabetic.com. That's easterndiabetic.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Pastrnak got that shot away. Pastrnak shoots his head.
Hi, this is David Pastrnak.
Pastrnak for the low laser.
And you're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
On the air, online, on the air. This is how Boston sports fans start their day. Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Xanadu is a big Bruins fan, and he was featured on TV again this year. You can see him around the Garden in the city on rollerblades, a Rider jersey. He has long hair, the glasses from Slapshot. Yes, John?
I was saying, I was at the game on Friday, Xanadu on the Jumbotron 3 different times.
I chose Xanadu, too.
During the game.
Xanadu invests a lot of his fortune into these Bruins tickets. Xanadu, hello, sir.
Hello, sir. So I do all that. I put that amount of passion, that amount of energy and support into this team. And this morning, I am embarrassed to be a Bruins fan, and it has nothing to do with the players on the ice. Don Sweeney just told his team they're not worth going to bat for. And anyone who's ever had a boss do that knows how hard it is to get up for work the next day. I support these guys to an ungodly degree, and Don Sweeney not willing to say something to the league gave me a feeling that a Game 7 loss never could, which is, why bother?
Yeah.
Why am I putting this amount of effort in when the guy in the front office who is able to go out there is not willing to say some words when I am spending this money, I am supporting this team, I am rollerblading, I am not doing this for my health. That would be counterproductive. Why can't you go out there and show the passion that I do for a team that you work for?
That's right, Xanadu. Sweeney yesterday talked, and we'll play some of that audio for you. And the big thing was he was going to talk because Montgomery couldn't, and he was going to address the terrible officiating. How did you handle that, Xanadu? I'm interested in that. When they allowed the Bennett goal, and you saw that they didn't overturn it, what were your feelings?
In that moment, I after the way the refs have been in this league, to be honest, in this series, I turned to the guy next to me and said, I wouldn't risk that.
Really?
I get the letter of the law. I wouldn't have risked it because the NHL, after they didn't call the hit on Marchand, after everything they've done, I looked and said, no, don't risk that. I don't care how clearly in the right you are. I have no faith that the Bruins are going to come out ahead on this, I figured there was a foregone conclusion that they were going to get the penalty based on everything else. Why would that be the thing they were going to get right?
And by the way, why did that? Thank you, Xana, dude. Why did the video of the Bennett hit not come out until Sunday?
It's amazing. No one had that reverse angle until Sunday.
Yeah, why did they? Because it just occurred to me yesterday. I was thinking, because we were just talking about it like it was fact. Whatever hockey guys we had on yesterday, and they're like, Fluto. And he's like, yeah, we didn't get the video till Sunday. Because it's one thing when I see it. I saw it on Sunday, but I figured maybe I missed it on Saturday.
Yeah, we're just people who watch the games.
You're right, exactly.
All those people who are actually in the sport, work for the team, they should have had it beforehand.
Yeah, it is interesting that the league. So whatever, like you don't think the games are fixed, fine. Like maybe they're not, but they're probably not. But you don't think the league held on to that video? Why did they hold on to that video like that?
Lockhart says it wasn't the league feed. It wasn't the NHL feed. It came from another feed. Now, I don't know who it would have been from or who else has cameras like that.
But it's not like the NHL doesn't have access to it. It wasn't a camera phone. It was a television camera.
Section. Yeah,
it was a television camera. It wasn't some kid in the front row that just happened to be taping it. I mean, it was an angle on television.
If it was TSN, Canadians, it was probably actual film. They had to go get it developed. Had to, wait at a photo mat outside of a Tim Hortons.
They had to do a seance above the grave of Don Cherry to see if it was appropriate to release.
Right.
I wish Don Cherry was around to yell about this. If he's indeed dead, he could very well be alive.
I don't know.
But I'm assuming he's dead.
I think Don Cherry's still with us.
Oh, he's got to be 105. I mean, he coached the Bruins in the 50s.
He's still with us.
90 years old.
90 years old, man.
90
Is he
years
really
young.
Is he really still with us?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, he's breathing and his heart's beating. I'm not. When was the last time you saw Don Cherry?
Oh, just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to some of this Don Sweeney stuff, Hardy.
You want to do it now?
Yeah, because I led into it with this dude.
Yeah.
With the dude from Xanadu.
Xanadu. Well, yes, not supposed to be. And again, like when we heard Montgomery talking about this, kind of upset the way he handled it. Here's what Don Sweeney said. Dan? Not hearing Don Sweeney play. Yeah? Okay. Can you play from in there? Don Sweeney, number one? If it's not going to play from here?
Don Sweeney, number one. Is that 1 minute and 30 seconds long?
That's the beginning
I
of it.
I could play it from here.
That'd be great.
If we can do that.
What's going on with Hardy's crap?
I don't know. Let's see what.
Why is it not playing?
Yeah.
Machi.
No, let's see what we got here.
Get the effing engineer in here. This is unacceptable. What? Seriously, Nick, go get the engineer immediately. Why is this not working? And Mike's isn't working either. Oh, so good. Fantastic.
Good, fantastic.
No, Nick, move. Jesus Christ, does he move slow?
Try this.
Don, I guess just what you can address about what happened last night and kind of the goal getting,
Never mind, Nicholas.
How it went through.
With regards to the
back in the day.
Judgment from Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're not in a position to be criticizing.
Stop it. Why are you there? Why did you talk? Just don't talk. What the hell is going on with him?
They're scared of getting fined. That's
Nicholas,
what it is.
You did fine. We figured it out.
He is scared of getting fined by the league. Why? I have no idea. I mean, I agree with Xanadu.
What's worse, getting fined by the league or your
losing
pride?
Your fan base.
Or your pride.
We're not in a position
to be criticizing, the officials and league-wide such. That's standard protocol.
Okay, then why are you talking? It's not protocol. We talked to Fluto yesterday. It's not protocol that you would be talking today.
He sounds like the Miss America contestant, such as in other places for
and league-wide such. That's standard protocol. We'll get fined as a result of that.
Okay, but fine. Then don't talk. Then don't say anything.
Or get fined.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is, well, first of all, get fined. So big deal. You get fined. It's a $1 billion enterprise. Wow, you got fined. I feel really bad for you. Don't get fined. Don't say things. Don't say things that could get you in trouble. That's beautiful business. That's the way that you should be public speaking. In any field, if you're talking in front of a group of investors, if you're pitching a creative idea, the worst thing to get in there is being afraid of, there'll be consequences if I say this, then you're going to lose right away.
Show your players and your fans you're willing to stick up for them regardless of the circumstances.
So you just came out there to say I can't say anything or I'll be fined? What the hell? You went to Harvard. What the hell is the point of that?
The point to be critical. The overall premise that I have is, to be perfectly honest with you, we should not be asking the coach after a game what they feel about officiating and what happens. You guys should really be focused on, what we didn't do well enough.
Oh my God! Your problem is the media.
The media's
Dum. They just screwed you. The media is supporting you. What the hell does he say the media is doing? You're down in a series 3-1. You got hosed. You should be loving the media. It's giving your team an excuse. The league is screwed you. Everyone's saying it. The league screwed you. No one can figure out what happened. It's the media shouldn't be asking the coaches about it.
And
who are you protecting? You're protecting the league.
It's not just the local media. It's the NHL network.
And I think it starts before that on the Hampus Lindholm penalty. I think it was a little bit of an embellishment by Ekman Larsson. I don't think it was a huge cross-check. This is the defenseman's ice. You got to be able to protect your net when a guy's driving the net. So that's fine. They're on the penalty kill. All good. But then right here, Coyle has a chance to knock this out. We heard, and Bennett just pushes him out of the way, takes his ice, and arms extended. That's a cross-check. And on top of that, he lands on Swayman. So for me, I don't love that it was allowed. I think it should have been disallowed and reversed, but it is what it is.
It's all anyone is talking about. And if you want people to go out there and say how they didn't execute well enough getting the puck out of the zone on the penalty kills, the real issue is the fact that they're on the penalty kill in the first place and the subsequent goal that was scored after a penalty wasn't called and the goal wasn't waved off. That's the story of the game. And if Sweeney or anyone else says we're doing a bad job by asking the coach about it or talking about it, then you're just lying to yourself.
No,
you're ignoring the truth.
The big problem is so it's dumb because you want the media to focus on that he's a crap coach and that the team sucks. You're asking about officials. You shouldn't do that because he could get fined. You should focus on his lack of coaching ability in the team. I mean, it's really dumb. Like I would be over the moon if my team lost and there was an excuse. Now I'd rather win. But in terms of the media, if I'm focused entirely on the media, in the whole narrative nationally, in all of North America, is that you got hosed in that game by the officials, and that there is a precedent of working officials. Yeah. Marchand yelled at Montgomery during the Toronto series to say more to the officials. Good coaches. Don Cherry.
Right. We've seen other coaches.
Scotty Bowman.
Right. Work officials. We brought up Craig Berube, St. Louis, during the Stanley Cup Finals 5 years ago. He changed the course of events by popping off in the media about the officials. Yeah, we were told by an agent, one of the AHL players, that Gary Bettman told everyone before the season, don't criticize the officials because you'll be fined heavily.
Wow, good.
All right, fine. I don't care.
Now's the time.
Yeah,
now is the time.
Don't do it in February. Do it now in May.
It right this second. It shows your players and the fans.
They're going to lose.
What the officials on the
they're going to get blown out.
They're going to lose with Maroon getting pissed at the media and Sweeney getting pissed at the media.
They're going to lose by 4 or 5 goals tonight because if I'm a player and I heard what the general manager just said, why am I killing myself? He's not sticking up for me. Why am I going to play my heart out for him? I don't care.
Put the officials on the, in front of the microphone to answer the question because they're the only ones. Hold on, they're the only ones that have the experience to be able to handle, whatever interpretation they apply.
Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah. So you don't have the experience as being in hockey almost literally your entire life?
They're the only ones.
That in the course of human existence, you've been in hockey about as long as anyone else ever. Is ever Johnny Busick, who's been in hockey for 115 years, waving the flag before the game?
He's a legend. Chief,
Mike, go ahead.
How you doing, guys?
Hey, what's up?
I'd just like to ask you a question, really. Do you think there's any chance that there's some reverse psychology with Don Sweeney on this matter? Just in the sense that, the plays and the calls, everything, it's just not going our way. And maybe he's like, I can't, throw, fuel in the fire here. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. And maybe
Why talk then?
Yeah.
My thing is, Mike, then, because he doesn't have to talk. He called the press conference. So, like, okay. I can understand, like, if maybe Sweeney shouldn't say anything at all, but then why call the press conference? I don't understand that. Like, why call the press conference to yell at the media?
Yeah.
And this isn't because I'm in the media, believe me. But this is because I'm a fan of the Bruins. Is really what it is.
You didn't like being yelled at when you were down there yesterday with the rest of the scribes, just trying to get a story, just trying to get some questions answered.
I don't have the balls.
To Rule 69.
Send my boy Dan in there.
Question. That's it. So the rest of
Rule
us.
69? I know what that rule is.
Ow!
That cost Michael Douglas some vocal cords. He poisoned himself with that stuff. You be careful, Johnny, down there. Johnny's got that miner's helmet now, He's tugging his hat. He's like, yeah, baby.
I think Wallach
goes somewhere some brothers won't.
Wallach takes it one step further. He's into the 70. He just wants to go one more.
Yeah.
And?
That's the amount of times that you're going to reach ecstasy.
Is there a problem?
No.
He knows how to do the alphabet, Sam Kinison style.
While screaming.
I just like when I gave the alphabet reference one time. You knew it was Sam
I knew
Kinison.
exactly what you were talking about.
You've heard that. You heard that Stern show.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Dussault is going to join us next week.
Oh, we'll ask Mike about this.
Patriots.com.
We'll get back to the Sweeney stuff later in the show. I know a lot of you are calling in. It's very frustrating. I don't know why he talked. And guys, you have to remember, he didn't have to talk yesterday. Like Don Sweeney called the press conference to what? Admonish the media?
That was the best. When he called the press conference after the game, by the way, we knew about this like at midnight he was going to speak. Why call that if you choose to do nothing? I figured when he called that press conference, he had talked to Montgomery and said, you know what? Don't say anything. I'll do it.
Yes.
It's my job. And it turned out it wasn't his job. He did everything he could to say, I'm with Montgomery. I'm not saying anything.
I just find
Is that leadership?
He should have blamed the fans, really. I mean, if he's blaming anyone.
The fans are the only people he didn't blame. He blamed the media. He blamed the players. He blamed everybody.
By the way, blaming the media in this, you're essentially blaming the fans because the media is the conduit to the fans, and every fan wants you to stick up for the team against the officials. Like, that's what the media is acting as a voice of the people truly here. This isn't, this isn't some ratings ploy. This is fandom. All the fans are pissed. And you and not at you. All the fans are pissed at the officials.
Now fans are pissed at him.
Yeah, of course.
Now fans are pissed at him.
This is the dumbest press conference. I wish I had one off the top of my head. But I'm sure there's been dumb ones. I know one, but I can't mention it because it would be bad. When that dude took the thing out of the box. That was a bad press conference. You can watch it on YouTube. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
He was indicted.
Oh.
And he went up into the...
Bud Dwyer.
Yeah, Bud Dwyer. That was a bad one.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back. Not Larry Bud Melman, but Bud Dwyer.
It's featured in Hustler, too, for some reason. They have the photographs of Bud Dwyer's press conference.
I'm not afraid to
Bud's
tackle.
bloody bye-bye. That was the headline. I remember it.
Yeah, Hardy's got it framed in his kid's bedroom. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. content producer for Patriots.com. That means he's a co-worker of Hardy's who has 700 jobs. He's a man who can't say no. You can hear him. You're not doing the Patriots.com thing again, are you?
We're waiting until the schedule comes out, which is supposed to be out, I think, tomorrow night.
Oh, Jesus.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Why would you do? How much?
You want to know why? Because of the guy who is joining us right now. I love him that much.
Oh, look at that.
Him and
Isn't
Perillo.
that nice.
Oh, my God.
And then he'll come in tired and grumpy. And he'll go, I was headed to effing Patriots.com yesterday till 2 a.m.
No, that's...
And I'll go, why'd you do it? You don't need the money anymore. And you go, Mike Dussault. And then he'll blame Mike Dussault, and then you'll get angry texts from him.
Right.
You can't win for losing with this guy.
Never be on the show again, so we might as well treat him nice now.
He's like, I got to go voice track. No, you don't have to go voice track. You
Here's
don't need the money anymore. You're making plenty of money now.
Oh, no, you can never be too thin or too rich, and I want to be rich. I want to be a wealthy miser.
Well, I'll tell you, neither of those jobs are going to help you achieve that.
You could ask Deuce about the that's Mike Dussault's nickname. We
Hi,
call him
Deuce.
Deuce. You can hi, buddy. You could ask him about the no call in the Bruins game because Deuce is also a hockey official.
Oh, you are?
I'm a youth hockey official, so yes, I can offer my expert opinion on that as well.
Okay, what was the league thinking? Why was that not considered interference by Bennett or a cross check? What was going on?
Oh, Fred, that's perfect. That's what it is, right? Like I have no idea. I'm looking at it like as a ref, you say like I had a cross check, I had an interference. I have no idea. I mean, I think that's why everybody's losing their minds today. I heard you guys talking about the press conference too. It's just it sucks to lose, and then it sucks to lose on something like that. So as a referee, I feel a little bit for those guys, but man, you can't miss that call in that moment in this playoffs like that. It's terrible.
Yeah, and it's just it's not good. All right, Mike, rookie mini camp was going on. What are your feelings about? What did you see out there? Who was impressed? First of all, I'll just ask, what do they do? Like what's going on out there? Like what do they even do? That you can see?
I know it's so low key. I mean, it's they always talk about it being a learning camp. I mean, Belichick never gave us access, at least in my time there, of watching these guys. Because people were going to overreact to a lot of stuff, but I thought it was pretty tame. There's really kind of no reason to watch the defense. There was, there's one guy drafted on defense, so I think all eyes were kind of on the two quarterbacks and the two receivers and Jaheim Bell. Those are the only guys you could really get much out of. But I thought Drake May looked pretty smooth. I mean, I don't want to overreact, but you can just tell he's a really athletic kid. He throws a nice ball. Seemed. They did some little competitive 7-on-7 at the end. You don't want to overreact. I mean, there's maybe 5 or 6 snaps each for him and Milton. But after the first throw was a little behind the guy, he completed, I think, the next 5 and, looked relatively comfortable. I've now seen, Jared Stidham, Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, a few different rookies in these kind of situations. So I thought Drake May looked pretty good. I mean, I don't know what it means. We'll see when we get into OTAs and training camp and all that. But just kind of get your feet wet and get a look at these guys. And, just enjoyed seeing the two receivers, too. That's something I think everybody's, really interested in. It didn't really stand out like these guys are speed burners, but both seemed, pretty reliable. Jalen Polk hopping right in there, front of the line. He just kind of already has the feel of a professional. And, we'll see on Javon Baker. I think he's going to take a little bit of time to develop. But not a ton to take away. It's kind of football light, but always fun to just be outside and watch him chuck it around a little bit.
Talk more about Javon Baker, because if he is any good, he has the chance to be a star media-wise. He's doing a lot of talking.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing, John, was that, I had to write a profile, which went up yesterday, actually, on Javon. I spoke to Gus Malzahn, his coach down there at UCF. Also spoke with one of his high school coaches, and Gus was telling me he's really a quiet kid. He's like, if you get him to talk, you're doing something right. Jeez. And I was surprised. I mean, I know that, that initial press conference where it seemed like he was kind of perturbed that he slid to the 4th round. But yeah, and even talking to people internally, just kind of a quiet kid. So I do think, he's got a little savvy to him. But I think he's one of those players that you really are going to need to see, real competitive football for him to kind of stand out. But, Malzahn said he's the kind of kid that, every practice was, making acrobatic catches. And, so I think these two receivers, I mean, everybody, has their reaction to. I really like both of these kids. They just seem like football players, and you can go through, well, their 40 was this and their size is this and, all the different kind of qualifiers with all their different measurables. But I got a feeling both these kids can play Like I said, I think Polk will be ready to hop right in. I just think Baker might need a little bit of time, but he certainly has some good hands and seems to have a good skill set. Despite some drops in college.
Did you get a chance to see these quarterbacks chuck it around a little bit there, Deuce?
Yeah, Milton. Did he put on a show? Was he? Did he make everyone very horny?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was kind of as advertised, I would say, and I mean, we listening to that live. I think we were all kind of like, why are we taking another quarterback? Why are we doing this? Are we playing mind games or what? I know they've said he's got all this talent. It lived up to the billing. Like when they're just kind of throwing it around. I mean, it looks gorgeous. The kid. I mean, it almost looks like a Demento 2021 because May's wearing 10. He kind of looks like Mac, only bigger, more athletic. And then you can't help but look at Milton and kind of think of Cam Newton. So it's almost like you got that same vibe again. But as soon as they got to 7-on-7, you could kind of see the difference between what May was doing and what Milton was doing. Milton was misfiring.
Oh.
Meanwhile, May kind of looked like he got it. So, I know what they're doing with Milton, trying to develop him. He's got the talent, he's got some skills, but it certainly is apparent, I was kind of glad for, because the worst thing that could happen was Milton comes out, he lights it up, and then all of a sudden we know what happens around here. It's, we got a quarterback.
Don't worry about that happening. That's not going to happen. But
what speed?
No, I assure you that's not going to happen. But is there any way, because you saw Milton physically, not just his body, and he could play another position. Do you think, and he said that's entirely off the table, do you think that just because now that they've been out there, that there's any way the Patriots took him thinking that they could make him like a Brad Smith, like a Stewart, like that kind of, what do they used to call him? Like gadget guy.
Cordell Stewart slash
a slash type guy. Do you think that they look at him as that?
I don't really see it. I mean, I didn't really see him run that much, but he looks like a quarterback. He sure throws the ball like a quarterback, at least when no one's pressuring him and there's no like defense to decipher. So I don't know. It's hard because you almost look at Cam Newton as a similar body type. He might not be quite as big as Cam, but is he going to be able to run away from people? Is he going to be able to, run routes, that kind of stuff? I don't really see it. I see him more as, a developmental guy. Maybe they even stash him on the practice squad. And look, it's good business, right? I mean, the Patriots, do we really care if it's Drake May or Joe Milton's the next superstar? Like, they just need a quarterback. They need to find one. They're not going to be relevant again until they find a quarterback. So I get it from that respect, but I think there's a long way to go for Milton. I don't really see him changing position though.
And I haven't talked to you before on the air. I know you and Hardy have, but do you think Drake May, any chance he starts game one?
I don't think it's crazy. I mean, I probably would still lean at least the first half of the season going to Jacoby Brissett, but I'm definitely not somebody who's like, we're going to sit him 2 years and then we'll see. Like, I just think at some point you got to throw a guy in. And I mean, it's become such a crutch around here that you can break a quarterback. Like, I just think it's really hard to break a quarterback. You're going to break a quarterback who wants to be broken, who's going to be broken, but good quarterbacks, guys that are going to be star quarterbacks, I really believe that you're not going to break them. You got to get them in there. You've got to start getting them live reps. And, like just from the very, very limited sample size you saw, it didn't look like, Drake May was overwhelmed. I kind of go back to Jarrett Stidham, his first year when, it was my first time seeing a rookie consistently in camp, and you could just see it kind of looked like Milton. Like when he goes back into the pocket, his head is spinning, he's not quite sure where to go to the ball. And, Mac was good at that right out of the gate, for all of, what happened with Mac when he got in, he looked comfortable in the pocket. He got the ball out, at least at that point. And obviously it, slowly descended as they messed with his offense and all the offensive coordinators and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I don't rule it out, but I still think you got Brissett for at least the first half of the season. Very curious to see the schedule tomorrow, kind of see how it lines up. Where's the bye week? Is there, kind of an easy spot? You could imagine inserting Drake and just starting to get his feet wet. I think if he doesn't play at all this year, it's a loss.
All right, Mike Dussault, I like it. Thank you so much. Hopefully you can come on again.
I want to try one thing with you, Fred. And we haven't set this up ahead of time. Go ahead, just scroll through. I want you to pick one Jaws trivia question out of that list there, and see if Deuce can get it.
Okay. Bring it.
Take one at random. I just pulled up a site, Jaws trivia questions. I just want
a lot of these seem
pressure's
like easy. Oh, okay, I'll do this. At the beach, a boy played catch with a stick and his dog. What was the name of the dog?
Pippet. Come on, Pippet. Pippet.
Jesus Christ. How much money did Quint want to catch and deliver the shark?
Oh, I value my neck a lot more than $3,000. Was that it?
Yeah,
Chief?
but so I'll find him for 3.
But I'll 10.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, now you got me. Now I want
I'll
to
catch him and kill him for 10.
I've only seen Jaws once. When Brody and Hooper are about to leave at night, I like that you're that obsessed with it. Is it the woman losing her leg? When Brody and Hooper are about to leave at night to go looking for the shark, Ellen asks Brody what she should tell the kids. What's his answer?
Tell them I'm going fishing.
Jesus
Christ. I told you.
Wow.
What is Chief Brody afraid of?
Water.
My
Swimming.
God. It was water.
Drowning.
Well, I mean,
there's a clinical name for it.
Some of these are like, then there's who played the role of marine biologist Matt Hooper. Well, I know that.
Oh,
like, I would knew that before I saw the movie.
What was the name of the research vessel that he was going to go out on, Deuce?
Oh, see, Hardy, I was about to text you the other day because he's going on the Aurora, and I'm seeing all this thing about the Aurora Borealis, and I wanted to text you and be like, it's like I'm in Jaws. All I hear about is the Aurora.
This is fantastic.
All right, and then finally, because I am enjoying this, the shark killed how many people?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, now we're going to go down a rabbit hole here, Fred, because, technically, was Ben Gardner killed by the shark? We don't know. I mean, he's still intact in the boat and his eyes popping out. You can ask Hardy about that. I did a whole podcast last week about how he died. So I'm going to say, let's say Quint, Tracy Watkins.
The actress died yesterday.
All right. Let him answer the question.
Okay.
Jesus.
Pippet doesn't count. We're going with the guy in the rowboat too. 5? I think 5. I don't know. I'm a little on the spot.
It is 5.
Wow. Yeah.
That is.
Question.
Why Jaws?
That's something that me, Perillo, and Hardy just bonded on. I think it's why he wants to come back. We don't really talk about football that much. It's more just, Jaws, Jaws trivia, Jaws 2.
Last season you weren't locked in, huh?
You mean when they fell to 4-11? You guys weren't all
it's
about
not
the
that
game?
they were 4-11. It's that those games were absolutely brutal.
After that 6-0 loss in the rain to the Chargers.
So that final Jets game was a real burn.
Man.
You didn't score a touchdown in Germany. I know, guys. It was bad. We were into Jaws 2 and discussing why no one believes Brody. Like he called out the shark in Jaws 1, and now they're all like, not this again, Brody. And he was right. So those are the kind of conversations we have.
Money and lazy writing.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike.
All right, guys.
So
Thanks,
we
Mike.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Are you really going to do that Patriots job again? Are you really considering doing it? You hate it.
I don't hate it. I love the 1 o'clock road games. The 1 o'clock road games are great because you fly right in. It's like 20 minutes from my house.
There'll be plenty of those again this season.
Talk about football for a couple hours before and after, and then swing home. And it's it's a worldwide audience. They're on Patriots.com. It's wonderful.
Worldwide.
They're in the and an important partner of 98.5, the Sports Hub, the Patriots. So yes,
it doesn't mean you have to do it.
No, but.
And they're gonna get. They might get a couple primetime games on the account of Drake May, but who knows?
Yeah, there's no way I'm doing any primetime. I don't even want to do 4 o'clock games.
Half measures.
You do it or you don't do it.
People love those Easter eggs, Fred.
Half measures.
Yep.
All right, we'll be back. There's a lot to talk about today with the Bruins, but I do want to talk something about the NBA. Something was announced, and it's just a bad thing. And the Celtics can play spoilers if they want to with all of this. We will return. Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, and we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Did you see the high stakes NBA lottery?
Yes, I did.
A lot of pressure on these teams. You got a situation here where you have if you're the Atlanta Hawks, you have a big decision. Do you take Alex Starr from the Perth Wildcats or Donovan Clingan, John's favorite player from UConn?
Jesus, is he terrible? God, this guy could go in the top 5 of the NBA draft.
He could go second.
And Jeff Goodman, who is supposed to be on with us but isn't this morning, told us during the tournament, Clingan is a backup big in the NBA. He and Zach Edey are backup bigs in the NBA.
Well, how about Nikola Topic from Savada Vivada in Serbia?
Yes.
He's a 6'6" kid,
Sure.
18-year-old.
This is supposed to be the worst NBA draft in the last 25 years. Congratulations to Atlanta.
Would you like Rob Dillingham from Kentucky, the 6'1", 19-year-old?
That's right. 6'1".
Yeah, he's 6'1", 175. Or would you like Matas Bulzilizi from the G League
Buzelis?
Ignite?
Is that his last name?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to show off. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is that Bronny James has cleared his medicals and is still in the NBA draft. Now, he can maneuver himself out of it. He can still go back to school.
The word is he intends to stay. I think all the people who want to stay in have until the end of this month to decide one way or another.
Okay. So here's the deal. Here's what is rumored to be going on with the Lakers. LeBron James is a guy who couldn't get his team past the first round to the playoffs against a team that they could have had more success again, but he couldn't get. They had no success in the first round. He's due to make north of $50 million next year. He is hiring conceivably J.J. Redick, who's an annoying guy who's never coached, as his coach because they do a podcast together, and. Every mock has them taking LeBron's son, Bronny James, who averaged under 5 points a game, is coming off a major medical issue with his heart and is not like a kid with great size.
A bench player for a sub-500 team in a major conference.
So I have two questions. One involves the Celtics, and one involves the Lakers. If you're a Lakers fan, for 1 year of old LeBron James that guarantees you nothing, are you willing to, A, have him pick the coach and have that coach be a guy who's never coached before, who's annoying, and B, take his son, which is morally reprehensible because it's essentially leading his son into a life of second place? It's bad. It's not good parenting. If LeBron James makes a team that he's on take his son, it's bad parenting. His son's not ready to play in the NBA. His son may never be ready to play in the NBA. But if that's his dream, let him achieve it on his own. Don't force it before he's ready. Because even people that have him being taken by the Lakers, I mean, I'll read what the Ringer says. LeBron James, no one else has their dad in the description. LeBron James still plays for the Lakers, so it only makes sense if any team's going to draft his son who isn't ready for the NBA, it should be them. If I'm Bronny James and I read that, I'm just like, you know what, dude? Like, I'm going to go back to school, or I'm going to go overseas, or I'm going to do something, or I'm going to go, start a video game company and get money from Rhode Island.
Look, the argument, and it's a weak one, so I'll preface that. It's a weak argument. Bronny, the guy who recruited him to USC, Andy Enfield, left. He's no longer at USC. I think he went to SMU, whatever the case may be.
He went to SMU.
Yeah, so he's not there anymore. So Bronny's like, well, I don't want to go back and play at USC because the guy who recruited me isn't there. What he should do is transfer.
Well, no one else does.
Right. He should transfer. I'm sure there'd be another Power 5 school that would take him.
He could be a rotational player for a major college team. He's not a bad basketball player.
No, he participated in the McDonald's All-American game. He was borderline, but he was there.
I know. No. He could be, as an upperclassman, be probably a good player for a good team.
But
I'm not saying he couldn't play in the NBA.
But LeBron's working on a timeline. He's 39. He wants to play with his kid. That's where this comes from.
So if I'm the Lakers and I take Redick and I keep LeBron and I draft Bronny, I'm losing in the first round again. Why would I hand over if I'm the owner? I don't get these owners being so indebted to these guys and not winning. Like James Harden or any of or Paul George, like these guys who never win. They bend over backwards. They give the team playing. They don't have to follow any rules. And for what? You're the billionaire. You're the alpha. In a world of where in capitalism, in this business world, you're the alpha. Why, like, the guy who owns Brooklyn, doesn't he own Alibaba, the Amazon of, like,
Joe Tsai, yes.
Yeah, like, he's a billionaire upon billionaire. Like, why did you let Durant run roughshod over your organization?
I can tell you why. It's cliche to say it's a players' league, but fans, and we were talking about this earlier, you want to go see stars. You want to watch stars play. So what do owners do? They go and get as many of them as possible.
I know, but I don't understand if I'm paying someone $50 million, why I have to go ahead and draft his son and put a coach on if I'm not winning.
That's
like
ridiculous.
If I'm Milwaukee and Giannis wins that championship, fine. Okay, you proved to me that you can win a championship. What do you want to do? Let's be a team, you and I. You don't call all the shots, but let's be a team. I realize your value. I will compensate you, and I will treat you with respect. I'll indulge you with having a say in our decisions. That Giannis, yes.
Giannis has his
but you have
younger
to win.
brother. But the thing is, they allowed Giannis to have his younger brother on the team, who's awful.
Fine.
All I'm saying is these owners and GMs
do they draft his brother?
placate their stars.
I know, well, Sean, I'm aware of that.
But this LeBron James thing is an outlier, but if you're talking about the NBA in general...
The reason wait, hang on a second. The reason the Bronny James thing is different is because I think it's not being a good dad.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just not the right thing to do for his kid. I would be encouraging my son not to do it. Like, if my daughter wants to be in radio, and she has expressed interest in it, like, when she graduates college, I'm not going to go like, hey, why don't you come do a show with me?
Sure. No, this is above and beyond. I agree.
Wasn't it, Hardy?
This is no. It's,
I'm the LeBron James of Boston.
It's a decent
I'm the JJ
comp.
Redick.
And I think when you're talking about the owners here and how they look at this thing, there are a lot of owners who would probably rather be the Lakers with LeBron James and a great storyline with his kid there to make sure that the arena is packed for every regular season game.
It's gonna be packed anyway.
Get some gate for maybe one round of the postseason, as opposed to being the Oklahoma City Thunder that is not packed with household names, or even the Denver Nuggets.
Thunder's got the second in MVP voting. They have Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, Holmgren.
Oklahoma City's a bad example, but I understand where you're headed.
No, it's not. In Los Angeles, where you've got just nothing but pink hats and people who are just there for the scene, they're going to show up and they're going to go into that arena for the story.
Oklahoma City has got fans that show up anyway. That's all I'm saying. It's just use a different team.
I don't get the analogy. But the
point is this.
I understand that they need a star, you say, but I would argue if I'm
and a star
Jeannie
with
Buss,
a story.
If I'm Jeannie Buss, I'm saying the franchise is the story. The Lakers are a blue blood gold standard franchise. This is my entire point. I understand what you're saying, but my entire point is if I own the Lakers, I win. I own the Lakers. The Lakers are the thing. The Lakers existed before LeBron James. In fact, LeBron James is a very small part of the Lakers. Like, LeBron James isn't Magic or Kareem or any of these, or Kobe or even Shaq. Like, he's not identified with the team. Like, you are the alpha. Again, the team is the alpha in that situation.
Yeah, but you're right in that he is not only, ceding all this power and control to a player. It's a player that when you first think of LeBron James, you don't think Laker. You think
third?
Yeah.
You
It'd
think
be
Cleveland,
third.
Miami, the Lakers. But anyway,
Correct.
the Celtics thing is the Celtics have picked 54, which is right up before
See,
the
that's
Lakers.
thing.
And
They
it would
have a
be
chance to do
hysterical.
something
It would be
fantastic here.
hysterical if they took Bronny James.
It'd be awesome.
If they took Bronny James and they just cast him off and they said, "Congratulations, we're going to pay you whatever, $75,000."
Enjoy Maine.
Yeah, and we're just going to keep you in Maine, and we're doing it just to be dicks.
I didn't know that USC has had him listed all this time at 6'4".
Yeah,
he's not 6'4".
No, he's 6'1.5".
Yeah, no, he's short.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's got a good build. He's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a muscular kid.
That's the thing to watch for. The Celtics have the pick before the Lakers in the second round.
So
There's
anyway,
you
there's a
have that
reason-
possibility.
I think the second round's its own night this year. So in a draft,
No, it does. No, it's 2 nights this year.
Yeah,
That's
and-
right.
and what's funny is the names that get taken in the second round might be names that people know better than the names that are taken in the first round.
The best part is, would the Lakers, knowing that the Celtics are right there,
trade up?
Not trade up. Take Bronny at the end of the first round
Oh, just so he
to
makes
make
more money.
sure that LeBron
Ship him
gets his
off to
guy.
Maine.
Then you know LeBron's main thing is winning. Then you know he
Yeah,
really wants to
right,
win.
right.
If he's like just
Because you think Rob Pelinka wants to sit 24 hours wondering whether or not the Celtics are going to take him? He'd have to trade up to make sure.
do they have a? I don't know if they have a first round pick.
I think the Lakers do.
Okay,
I'm
don't
not
know. I'm looking at
100%
it.
positive, but I think they do.
All right. Good for them. I don't see one, but maybe they do. And I like the idea anyway. I don't mean to pour water on it. All right. We'll be back. Music. There is a. Hardy's telling me there is a much problem and discourse going on in the music industry. We'll explain.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. Jaws from the Town Fair Tire Studio, the home of the Bruins, Patriots, Revs, and Celtics.
Come on, Maxey, step back, three is good.
Boston's home for sports is 98.5, the Sports Hub, the Easily Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
The Cavaliers didn't have Donovan Mitchell last night, but they still gave the Celtics all they could handle until the final minute.
Tatum deep on the left side against Dean Wade. Garland jumps out at him. Tatum turns the corner. Kick out. Open. Jalen. Three. Got it! Jalen Brown knocks down the killer three with 1:07 to go. And that's all that separates the Celtics from a 3-1 series lead.
At Sean Grandy here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jalen Brown's three with 67 seconds left finally put away Cleveland 109-102 in Game 4 of that second-round playoff series. Jason Tatum now has 13 double-doubles in his last 15 playoff games after a 33-point, 11-rebound performance in this one. Darius Garland scored 30 for the Cavs in the loss. The Celtics lead 3-1. They play Cleveland tomorrow night at TD Garden in game number 5 of that playoff series. In other NBA news, a win for Oklahoma City, 100-96. That second-round playoff series even at 2 games apiece. The Bruins visit Florida tonight, down 3-1 in that second-round playoff series. Judd Surratt and Bob Beers have the Duncan pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Brad Marchand is with the team after skating yesterday. Fox Sports announced their first NFL game will be Cleveland at Dallas Sunday at 4:25 in Week 1. That will be Tom Brady's debut on the network. Detroit has re-signed Jared Goff to a 4-year, $212 million contract extension. And Tampa Bay beat the Red Sox 5-3 at Fenway Park. They'll play him again tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by East Coast Metal Roofing, the official roofing partner of the Boston Celtics. Mention 98.5 The Sports Hub and get 10% off your new roof. Visit eastcoastmetalroofing.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
This is Jalen Brown.
Jalen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Scoring the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Like 20 years from now.
I'll
Like
make
when
the
you're in the
stadiums
dentist
rock.
office, they're going to play the National and Fallout Boy.
Fall Out Boy.
I still feel kind of bad about Fall Out Boy, and this isn't a big deal, but I was interviewing them at the Grammys like towards the end of my time in Atlanta.
20 years. Wow. They've been around that long?
Yeah, it was the last time I was out in LA, and it was miserable because everyone on the show had friends and things to do out there but me. And so I just like was alone the whole time. And then And I went to the Grammys, and the woman that was on my show, she goes to Fall Out Boy, like, who are you the most excited to see at the Grammys? The guy from Fall Out Boy, the fat one, goes, he goes, Herbie Hancock. And I go, oh, stop trying to be interesting. And he looks at me just with this defeated look of like, you're just such an a-hole, and I'm tired, and I don't want to be here. And that look still haunts me. Just like the fat guy from Bare Naked Ladies who someone tattled on us and said, like, the guy calls you the heroin guy, which, because I can't think of his name, and he had a heroin problem. And he goes, that's a shame. I checked them out, and they seem like guys that I could be friends with. And then I went, well, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be mean. I mean, you're in a terrible, terrible, terrible band, but you're not even in it anymore. And you were the least annoying part of it.
Stephen Page, is that the one?
The tall, skinny guy on the upright bass is super annoying. Yeah, this guy's the worst person that's ever existed. I don't care if he cures cancer. And then that cutesy, stupid look on his face. You just want to punch him in the face.
You don't like the stand-up bass?
No. I don't even like when the Reverend Horton Heat have the stand-up bass. Remember one time a girl goes to me, she goes, I'm a Reverend Horton Heat fan. You want to go to the show? I go, yeah, I'll go to the show with you. We end up and I go, what is this pussy crap? And it was Sunny Day Real Estate. It was the wrong night.
Oh. Adam 12 just posted an article on rock929rocks.com about
how he took one of your other businesses there.
That's right. He took one of his kids, the headline
Ducade.
is, one of his kids to see his favorite band performing their best album. And I was trying to guess. I'm like, Oh, what?
Oh, his favorite. It's not his favorite band. His favorite band is the
Guided by
Voices.
Well, I knew it was like going to be some pretentious crap, and I couldn't figure out. And then I saw the thumbnail, which gave it away. Seen my favorite band's best album live with my 15-year-old. That's the title of the article.
All right, so you say that's sweet.
And I look at it, and then I see Sunny Day Real Estate.
Yeah, that's not his favorite band. He's lying. He's trying to get clicks. His favorite band is Guided by Voices, and we all know it. And Guided by Voices are a very marginal band that just happened to have a cool lead singer who threw a perfect game in the 70s.
Well, let me ask you this, Fred. Out of all the musical knowledge that you have you ever heard of Eurovision?
No, I don't. I've never heard of it.
Eurovision has been going on since 1956. This is a continent-wide song contest for Europe.
Still segregation in those days.
Yes. It's an international song
Adam
competition.
12 texts, I have several favorite bands. Well, that would be
then you don't have one.
Then you don't have a favorite band.
No.
There can be your favorite, dum-dum. It's we like picking your favorite free thing. The government pays for
I had
it.
several free things. Spaghetti, cheese.
The library, parks.
Walks around Walden Pond.
Well, he has to buy the yearly package.
He's got to buy a Parks Pass.
And every day it goes up. Every year it goes up. He's like, oh, the Parks Pass is $7 now. This is a problem. Seasonal pass.
Napkins, straws.
Sugar packets, rolls. These are all things that if you take Adam 12 out for dinner, like just you're like, why do you bring a backpack? He's like, don't worry about it.
Dog
and then,
poop bags.
Adam loves things that you can loiter in.
Oh.
And then he puts like these romantic pictures of it. Like it'll be like February. It'll be like, what a beautiful day. And it's like, you're in Waltham, dude. There's like 2 trees in Waltham and you're pretending that you're Kerouac.
He's got a handful of pine bark mulch. And the caption says, didn't cost me 1 cent.
No.
Free at the playground. Go get a scoop. Anyway.
Boy, his kids must have ruled on the monkey bars. I mean, he's just like, guess what we're doing today?
Swings again.
It never gets old, does it, guys? It's like our own Cedar Point. All right. So tell me about Eurovision. What do we got here?
So each country submits an artist and a song to compete in Eurovision. And I'd never heard of this thing until this year. There was a big controversy. Now, I'm not going to keep you in suspense. I want to play for you the winner first. But the winner came with some controversy. This is Nemo.
Welcome to the show. Let everybody know I'm done playing the game. I'll break out of the chains. You better buckle up. I'll pour another cup. This is my boy.
Ooh, I like these lyrics.
Nemo, a non-binary singer. And
all right, so now we can't make fun of it.
No. We're not making fun of anything. I'm just telling you what's going on.
I'm told that he's got the Seinfeld pirate shirt on.
He's got a puffy shirt. Singer and rapper wins Eurovision for Switzerland amid Gaza protests. Now, the protest came because, of course, Israel was invited. And now you can't do anything having to do with Israel.
Yeah, as Jerry Seinfeld learned.
As Jerry Seinfeld. So now I thought that the odds-on favorite to win Eurovision this year, which was someone by the name of Joost Klein for the song Europapa, was kicked out because of this. It really had more to do with Joost Klein's, I guess, behavior leading up to the Eurovision finals. But the world...
Okay, so Eurovision is a award show in Europe.
Yes.
For the best artists in Europe.
The best song from each country.
Okay.
Each country nominates an artist and a song, and then they compete.
And so the person, you just paid me the person who won.
Yes.
And now you're playing the person from Israel.
No, this is the Joost Klein, I believe, is from Sweden.
Okay, this is the person from Sweden.
This is the person from Sweden, but now I'm going to have to double check. I just want you to know that this was considered the odds-on favorite. The bookies, you can bet on this in Europe, and there's, this was a fan favorite. This was the bookies' favorite. Everyone thought Joost Klein was going to win for this song, Europapa.
can tell you where it's from. It's from a Norwegian country.
It's the Netherlands.
Yeah, it's definitely from a Norwegian country. They this is what they do. Everything is like they speak English, but like just like a second, like a half second off.
Right.
Like everything's like 30 years like late. Because they're so content because there's so many flowers. It's like an Adam 12 paradise.
The Netherlands contestant was dramatically expelled from the competition hours before the grand finale and likely will be charged with making illegal threats. These were being investigated.
He said, I'm going to play louder.
A complaint from a female member of the production crew. That doesn't sound good.
No, that sounds like very sexist behavior. But speaking in English, or is this another language?
It's like
I'm going with English. That sounded to me, that last part, like English.
Because no, this ain't English.
But every once in a while, there's an English word thrown in.
Playing and the guys are dancing. I'm like, I want to be not around one of them. Cover your drink. This is music to roofie by. Like, this is total douche. Like, I'm not kidding, ladies. I'm on your side. You go into a club and this is playing and there's guys like waving their shirts around to it. Get the skedaddle as fast as you can. These are not the kind of people that you want to be around.
But the runner-up, not Juice Klein and Europapa, because they were expelled from the competition. The runner-up to Nemo was Baby Lasagna. Rin Tim Taggy Tim. That's the name of the song.
What's it called?
Rim Tim Taggy Tim.
What's going on in Europe?
Like millions, tens of millions of people tune in every week. So that, and we're very upset when Europapa was expelled. But then managed to rally and celebrate Nemo.
Welcome to the show. Let everybody know I'm done playing the game. I'll break out of the chain.
I'm done playing the game. I'll break out of the chain.
You think American Idol is bad? You should count your blessings.
Well, listen, if it's not as all encompassing. They have
That's
to
right.
do something in the Netherlands.
That's right. That's right.
Like, you ever seen like a comedian from the Netherlands, and they show up and they're like, meters make more sense than inches, or kilometers make more sense than miles. Like, that's an excellent take on the systems of measure.
They have problem finishing the jokes. They feel like it's rude to explain it too much and to throw in a punchline at the end.
That's right. That would be hitting you over the head with it.
That's right.
I don't have to do that. All right. When we come back, our friend Chris Forsberg will try to drum up some interest in this Celtics series because, as I said, Tony Maserati got a lot of heat for saying that the title doesn't mean as much if they win it. And I understand why that would upset people, but I don't understand why it would upset people. I understand why people would disagree. But I understand almost what he's saying in that this is not a whole lot of fun. This is pretty boring, to be quite frank. No Jimmy Butler in the first round, no Donovan Mitchell last night. There's nothing to look at. They're just playing average teams. And they are going to play average teams until the finals. So we have to just kind of buy time until the finals. All right, we will have that for you in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the
very, very, very good place because he is very content about this series. The Celtics are up 2-1 as they're in Cleveland.
3-1.
3-1 as they were in Cleveland last night. Chris Forsberg covers the Celtics for NBC Sports Boston. He's in Cleveland. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Hello, Chris Forsberg.
Good morning, y'all. What's going on?
Hi, Chris.
Hello, friends.
Do you wish that there was more opposition? Honestly, do you wish that there was more?
No, it's like I don't get this notion. Like, this is why you play for the number one seed. This is why you. I mean, do we ever sit there and fret all those years that they were injured and that they complicated their path? No, it's like it's not going to cheapen it at all.
No. No. Now you're going Maz style. But no, that's okay. No, I'm not insulting you. I'm saying that this is what Maserati. You're referring to Maserati, which I love.
Yeah, it's like
I
so
love
dumb.
that picked up so much momentum.
But dumb.
I know, but it's great. You have to admit that because I kind of understand what Tony was saying. He just took it to like a total extreme. He's just saying like this isn't fun. You know, when you think back at the great series and like the battles, like this just hasn't been that fun. I think was his point.
I think that is a fair point. I would say this postseason in general has lacked for drama, and it was like kind of unique that we sat there last night in what was kind of a fluky crunch time game, the first crunch time game they played, 5 points within the final 5 minutes, and only because the Cavs made this little charge and got to 5, and it never really felt that maybe as close as it was, and it probably shouldn't have been as close as it was. So yeah, I do miss the sort of super postseason effort that goes in the history books, and we talk about forever. Tatum's big night in Milwaukee, Tatum's big night in Philadelphia, Grant Williams hitting 7 threes in Game 7, all that stuff. But I just don't. If the ultimate goal here is just to deliver a banner, then I don't care about style points. I don't care about whether the games are super entertaining. I think they're going to get a lot more entertaining in the next 2 rounds. And I think that if you're a Celtic fan, it's probably okay if the most daunting part of the first 2 rounds has been that you had a couple of really ugly losses in game 2.
Well, and I don't disagree with sometimes, especially last night. Like the game is a tough watch, and I lost my mind during the whole examination of the Jaylen Brown foul on Strus that really wasn't much of a thing, and they just
tell him your
thing.
Tell him your thing. Yeah, you could be a little more. I liked how upset you were about it. Go ahead.
Well, I'm trying to watch the game. I'm trying to enjoy it, and here, is just this routine play where Brown's down on the ground and Strus kind of straddles over him, and he dares brush the side of his head with his sneaker, and then Jaylen Brown dared to reach up and grab his foot as he's going away. And the entire league stops. The league office is looking at the film. The officials walk over to the scorer's table, and they start doing that stupid spin-around monitor thing, and they got to hunker down and look at this thing. And then the officials and the analysts are all wringing their hands. This is such a terrible thing. And it's not fair to judge it against hockey, Chris, but I always do, where these guys are out there playing legitimately injured and hurt, and they get a puck to the face and they miss a shift or 2, and then they're back out there. Meanwhile, these guys are talking about legal action against Jaylen Brown. Would you all just shut up? And when it finally comes time to resolve the thing and get the game going again, wait a second, he can't take the free throw. He wasn't on the court. Oh, that's right, because there's 19 substitutions every time there's a timeout, and there's 12 timeouts a half. And I can't watch it. I can't watch these games. If they're not going to be close games and they're not going to be compelling competitively, this happens to me a couple of times a year. I look at this and I say, this league sucks. They are ruining the product. And Wallach tried to make the point earlier, these games are over quicker than NHL games.
They are.
The NHL plays for 60 minutes and they have 2 long intermissions, as opposed to the NBA, which is only 48 minutes, and they stop all the freaking time. The game should be over in 90 minutes. That's how long it should take to play an NBA game if
Thanks
they
for
just
coming
played.
on, Chris. We appreciate
I didn't expect this much passion this morning.
Well,
I thought we were gonna struggle to get through this.
No,
But I'm with you.
don't worry.
But in terms of like the product, doesn't it ever bother you? It reminds me of what Manfred said. It's like it's not a length of game problem. It's a pace of play problem. And the NBA is a pace of play problem sometimes.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Like the fact that they had to go back to the monitor a second time is infuriating. I do think they need to work harder to figure out ways to do that quicker. I don't understand how there's a ref in the review in New Jersey, and it still takes Mark Davis going to the monitor 3 times to figure out everything. Just like have someone policing this thing. Let the referees on the court just do their job, and let's get this thing moving. I was more worried because there's one of my favorite taco spots on the road closed at midnight last night, and every minute mattered.
I've been there. I felt the same way.
I couldn't believe.
But it was
how
more
late
like last call.
That game ended last night. I was so pissed off. I'm like, it's freaking 9:30. This game started at 7. Why did it take 2.5 hours to do this?
Yeah, welcome to doing this job. It sucks.
Yeah,
it ruins your life. But Jason Tatum, I hear national guys talk about the growth of his game. I heard it this morning. I heard Austin Rivers talking about it. Do you see an evolution in Tatum's game this postseason for a positive?
Yeah, I would say. Well, I think obviously he's got some criticism for being a little bit inefficient at times this postseason. I do love that he's sort of really leaned into this whole season the idea of it just matters that they win. I think we all get caught up on, man, he had those 40-point games, 50-point games in the past. I don't know if that matters to him anymore. I think, maybe there will be a situation in this postseason where he has to do that, but he seems just as content to do the 25-point, 12 rebound, 4 assists, 6 assist night. And as long as they're winning, that's okay. I think he understands, like, this is why you bring in all this talent to get you to that title. Like, ultimately, we're going to judge Tatum and his career here on if he puts the banner up. And unless he does that, none of the individual stuff will matter. And I just think there's a maturation that goes on with all young players that eventually get to that point. And I'm sure it bothers them. I mean, even that comment the other night where he was very diplomatic about the criticisms he's heard. Like, I'm sure it bothers him that he doesn't get as much shine as Jalen Brunson for going off 40 points every night. And yet, let's see in mid-June if it mattered. And if he gets that title, it's like, we'll look at him in a whole new way.
Chris, I think the Celtics need to put Cleveland away simply to give Al Horford some rest between playoff series. It looks to me like he's wearing down, and it looks to me like Derek White's playing hurt.
It's interesting. So, I mean, Derek left last night. He got like landed on awkwardly on his foot. I don't know. I think it's just a weird time for Derek to go into a slump. I don't suspect it's going to last very long. It is a little weird that Al, who tends to go up in the playoffs, has struggled as much with that shot. Like, if either of those guys has a normal game last night, probably a 20-point win instead of a nail biter. Although, Drew, you can make the case Drew Holiday's gone up. And so, yeah, I'm with you in this regard. Like, get it done because this series feels like it's over, and don't make yourself come back here, expend all that energy, especially if the next round ends up creeping up. And, I think I can start as early as Sunday if that other series ends in 6 and this one ends in 6. But as much rest as you can get for these guys, whether it's Drew, whether it's Al, I'm all on board with that. I still think Al will go up a level when it matters most. But yeah, like, just something to kind of keep an eye on, like how long those slumps go and can they get out of them before it really matters when everyone's got to be kind of locked in.
Watching Tatum last night and kind of like get going early, I think that was encouraging, I guess. But everything is done under the guise of like, okay, what was the team like they were facing last night? So is it more important for him just to like get going early in games and have it happen and not worry about
first quarters? You usually eases into the game. It's usually Jalen that sort of carries that torch.
Yep.
So, like, hey, keep that part going. Find some good habits that can carry over. Like, whether it's the Knicks or the Pacers, it's going to be tougher next round. And whoever comes out of the West is going to be even tougher. So I just want them to be sort of ramping up so that we don't have this, like, ugly-looking game this time of year. I mean, when you can't get away with it in future rounds. But yeah, I think Tatum's been very good. Someone pointed out, like, the 2 stat lines over the last 2 games are almost identical. Shooting percentages and everything is kind of crazy. It's just and some people will fret the fourth quarter numbers, but he made the big layup when they got within 5. And hey, that's what you got to do when you want in crunch time when you're that superstar player.
I think that you agree everyone wants to play the Knicks. It's just more fun, way more fun. Because I'm making the bold statement that New York is a bigger market than Indianapolis.
Yeah.
If I may be so bold.
But the Pacers have bothered me a couple of times already this season. I look at them. It's not that I don't want anything to do with that team, Chris, but they could be a problem.
They'd be more fun. Indiana would be more fun to watch on the floor.
Yeah.
I think they'd be a problem.
Everyone in media is a Knicks fan.
Yes.
Literally every basketball analyst, every basketball talking head is a Knicks fan.
Do you run into that, Chris?
100%.
Oh, that's true. That I might not know what I'm talking about. That I know. They're all Knicks fans.
They're led by Stephen A. Yeah.
Yep.
The hype machine would be out of control. I do think the games would be like super fun inside MSG, but the exterior noise and like the oh my god, look at the Knicks. It would be a little bit overwhelming, and I it would be fun to see like how Tatum responds going up against. Brunson would have to score 40 points a game in that series to try to like hang with the Celtics, and so I'm intrigued by that. I am like from selfish reasons, like where do I want to travel? New York is just a headache. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it.
I get it. I'd rather go to Indianapolis too. I really would. I'm not lying to you.
Give me the Midwest and my breweries and everything else, and leave. I don't need the celebrity stuff and traffic jams.
Yeah, Indianapolis is great because you fly in, you stay at a nice hotel that's right by I'm sure NBC
easy to
Sports
get
Boston.
around.
You're the Four Seasons, but you can walk to the arena. Like everything's there. I'm with you. If I'm traveling, I want to go to Indianapolis. As strange as that sounds, yes.
Do you guys say Four Seasons? Like these residence inns that I stay in are like elite. The breakfast is fantastic.
I know. Well, Tango used to have to stay at the Knights Inn when they would let him outside.
I don't have the pull to get the nice hotels. I stay with my people.
He said, let me put it. I just want a place where the bed shakes if you put a quarter in. I don't like to move. I got a bad arm. You get it?
That guy gives me an idea for a new book.
I don't feel like moving my arm. Yeah. Let the bed do the work. All right, Chris Forsberg.
Good talking to you.
Safe travels from Cleveland, my friend.
Thank you, friends. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, there you go. The great Chris Forsberg. Everyone loves Chris Forsberg as he covers the Celtics for NBC Sports Boston. I'm just going to lay here and let the bed do the work. In the nude. I've made a Fifi. With the free lotion and towels.
The Kush.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Now Rocky had a cut-off leg to deal with.
He dug amputees and he wasn't about to start apologizing now.
But she was a cop. A cop's cop.
What was her name again?
Rocky Suarez.
Rocky Suarez.
McNulty was a bit of a perv.
That's right.
He dug his chicks missing stuff.
Right.
She slung the soaked limb over her shoulder and waded back towards the beach.
He's never been so aroused in his life.
Wow.
Look at this, a chick missing stuff, holding stuff. It's like a weird taboo fantasy.
What the f***?
They wouldn't let him rent Saw anymore at the Blockbuster because they knew that he was up to something.
Hey, fatso.
Hey.
The smell of rotting body parts at the morgue got Detective McNulty all riled up.
Nothing like a good tushy.
All right.
He was a buttman.
Mm-hmm.
He was in a lot of those films. Very Gonzo style films, Buttman. You're familiar with his work, wouldn't you be, Johnny?
Sure.
He referred to him as Tushies.
Yes.
Buttman. Was that his name, Buttman?
Nothing like a good tushy.
Right. We will be back. I want to get back into this Don Sweeney. He talked for no reason yesterday except to aggravate everyone. And this is something that does not have to be played up. I would defy a Bruins fan to tell me that they liked what Don Sweeney had to say yesterday. Because you have to remember, Don Sweeney did not have to speak. He called his own press conference. He did it. He decided. He could have said nothing.
The night before. This wasn't like a hastily called deal before the team left. The night before he announced he was going to do this, he had 12 hours to sit on this.
This isn't Jim Montgomery right after a game having to go out and talk to the media because he has to, that the league mandates it. This is Sweeney made a strategic marketing decision to speak to the media yesterday, and it's fascinating because it couldn't have been worse or pissed me off more. And not sports radio pissed off, Bruins fan pissed off. The Bruins, I've unfortunately become a fan of this franchise, and it's starting to really piss me off. We'll have that. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics won in Cleveland last night, 109-102. They lead that playoff series 3-1, and they will host the Cavaliers tomorrow night in Game 5. The Bruins visit Florida tonight, down 3-1. Brad Marchand is with the team after skating yesterday. Judd Surratt and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. ABC has announced this morning that the Jets will visit San Francisco in the first Monday Night Football game of the season. And Tampa Bay beat the Red Sox 5-3 at Fenway Park in the opener of that 4-game series. The two teams will play again tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Massachusetts' leader in drain cleaning and pipelining. Drains by James. Slow drain, clogged drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9 o'clock.
and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
With a shot that's blocked down. Puck still alive. Kicked out and they score! It's Bennett with the power play goal to tie it.
The first shot has knocked down Peak. He is still on the ice. Bennett's the one dead to the right of the goaltender that bangs home this rebound after Tarasenko just let one rip.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. It's a very exciting time to be alive. We are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. So here you are, a Bruins fan. The team's not as good as Florida, whatever. Series is 2-1. You're up 2-0 in a game. Then you're up 2-1 in a game. Not the greatest goal let in by Swayman, whatever. You're playing with a little bit of passion, and in comes Bennett, the GOAT. Not the GOAT. The GOAT used to be bad. Remember that? He's the jerk
Charlie
off.
Brown was the GOAT.
Yeah, he's like the jerk off guy that everyone hates. He swung the punch at Marchand that the league held on to the video for inexplicably until Sunday, which didn't occur to me until yesterday that they held on to it for that long. I thought I just hadn't seen it. And it's not like a cell phone camera. It's a television professional operation camera. So, yesterday I'm pissed off. All the Bruins fans are pissed off. We're all pissed off about this call and this goal, and the officiating sucked. And the officials are like tackling players. Like, this is just like a whole weird scene.
It's been weird, and then we've heard Bob Beers get more upset than we've heard him get in a long time.
The question is, do the guys in the Situation Room see it the same way as we do?
No, they don't, but it's a cross. I mean, it's definitely a cross check. Coyle's right there.
Yeah, I mean, his voice is, Peter Brady's his voice a little bit there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, they've taken off the headsets, and we're going to get an explanation.
Upon further review, it is determined that there was no goaltender interference on the play.
You got to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me.
No, They weren't kidding.
All right, so here comes Don Sweeney. So after the game on Sunday, Sweeney announces that on Monday he's going to be calling a press conference. Everyone's excited. Here he's going to take the onus off of Montgomery, who is, in fairness to Montgomery in general, let's be very kind. I like Jim Montgomery. He's going to be the coach next year. Let's be very kind. It's right after the game, you're forced by the NHL and you're pissed. So, and then you got to sit there and answer questions. So he's in that situation. Remember, this is Sweeney called this himself. He's under no obligation to do this. He has 16 hours to prepare for this thing.
Yep.
And listen to what he has to say about his take on the officiating that cost his team. The terrible interference calls, the 4 power plays in the span of 10 minutes they got in the third period, the awful review and allowing that goal to stand, and here's what you got.
Don, I guess just what you can address about what happened last night and kind of the goal getting, counting and standing, how it went through.
Thank you, Dan Roach, by the way.
Yeah, Dan Roach, he hates this because now he's the center of attention. Way to go, Dan.
With regards to the judgment from Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're not in a position to be criticizing, the officials.
Why aren't you in the position of criticizing the officials?
You can't.
So no one can criticize the officials. You're not in the position of doing it. They effed you. They screwed you. You are exactly in the position to do it. If you're not in the position, unless he's completely brain dead, the reason you call the press conference is to address the officiating. There's no other reason to call it.
If not him, who else?
Why are you speaking? The only conversation right now isn't the goaltending. It isn't mixing the lines up. It's the officials screwed you. You know that. You know that. Dan Roach, of all people. Not Mr. He's not Mike Wallace, He's in there to make friends. He's the guy who asked you the question. It's the question that needed to be asked. Good job, Danny boy. Here we go.
Okay. Well, just so you know, they're not in the position.
Judgment from Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're not in a position to be criticizing, the officials and league-wide such. That's standard protocol. We'll get fined as a result of that. So there's no intention of my point to be critical. The overall premise that I have is, to be perfectly honest with you, we should not be asking the coach after a game.
Okay, so your big premise is that you called the media to talk about is that the coaches shouldn't be asked about officiating after the game.
Correct.
By the way, officiating is getting the media off your ass. The whole focus on it should be, you should love it. No one's talking about your team not having the personnel to compete against this team. No one's talking about your team going to Game 7 in overtime against Toronto.
A team you specifically assembled, by the way.
Yeah, you're off the hook. Everyone's blaming the officials.
Yeah.
And now you don't want them. What do you want them to ask Montgomery about? It's the story of the game. What's the media supposed to do? Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead. Here we go.
We should not be asking the coach after a game what they feel about officiating and what happens. You guys should really be focused on, what we didn't do well enough in the course of the game.
All right, stop it. Now the problem is the media focused on the officiating. Yeah. Again, what are you doing? You called the press conference. You called the press conference to scold the media for talking about something that happened during the game. This isn't the media talking about why you didn't go to like a hospital or something to visit people. This is the media talking about what happened during the game, the story of the game equalizer, the goal that tied the game. You've taken this opportunity to scold the media who are not blaming you, who are blaming the officials. You basically called a press conference to go lay off the officials, guys. Okay, your team sucks. How about that? How about you have no first-round draft picks and you traded them all away and you won one championship in 2011 before you were in charge? How about that this team is a disappointment year after year? How about we focus on that? What the hell's wrong with him? I'd like to call a press conference. I know no one's blaming me for anything right now, but I'm going to be a total dick and tell you to lay off the people that cost us the game.
I know you're busy hating the refs right now, but I'm going to call this press conference so that you hate me instead.
He's like on Mars. This is the worst press conference I've ever heard.
Those questions should be directed at either director or supervisor officials.
All right, Don, how does Dan Roach get in touch with the director of supervisors? You don't even know the title of the guy. Yeah, Dan, get on your horse and go talk to the director of supervisors.
Supervisor series and or the officials. You want full access?
Yeah, Dan, go grab the officials. Go tackle them when they're coming off the ice. Someone jump from the 9th floor and splash one of them.
And transparency, then put the officials in front of the microphone to answer the question, because they're the only ones. Hold on, they're the only ones that have the experience to be able.
Then what have you got? You probably played hockey since you were 1. You've been in the profession your entire life. You have all the experience in the world. You have more experience than these officials have. They're guys that couldn't make it in the NHL. What dork wants to be a ref in the NHL? A bunch of aggravation.
Whatever interpretation they applied to Rule 69 in that case to answer the question.
First of all, just stop it for Rule 69.
Yeah, just give that a nod. A little bit of respect.
That's it.
Baby, I'm taking care of you too. Right, Johnny boy? You got that right. Am I right or am I wrong?
Wally just wants to be smothered and covered like some Waffle House grits.
That's right. He's like, don't worry about me.
So the rest of us, we have, clearly we challenged it because of our interpretation, right? Yeah. So the only ones that can answer that, don't put out a statement. Just stand in front and answer the question.
Fair enough.
That's
you
as
want
simple
the
as that.
officials to speak, but I mean, you called the press conference because your big thing to support your team and to get in the refs' heads was the refs should have to speak. Well, they don't have to. So maybe at the league meetings, I don't know, This summer, you could make a suggestion that the league makes the officials speak. But right now, and by the way, if you're going to call the press conference, then get fined. Say finable crap. If you're not, then don't call the press conference. Don't say anything.
Wasted time.
Like, by the way, I'm going to have a point of order this summer where I'm going to suggest very strongly to Mr. Bettman that the officials have to speak after games. Well, that's thrilling as a fan who wants to see this team win and has a game the following evening. That's exactly what I would like. Could you please give us a syllabus of all the matters you'll be discussing with the league in the offseason? Because that's my concentration. By the way, no one cares about your sport until now. Not this summer, not this fall. It's a football world, baby. You have the spotlight. If you're going to talk.
If I'm the players, I'm pissed at him specifically.
I mean, you got Maroon all pissed at the media because they're asking him about what he is and isn't doing. You got him. I mean, this just doesn't seem good. And I really want him to win tonight. Believe me, I do. I really, really do. I don't want to put no mojo on him. But it sounds to me like they're turtling awful bad. Like Maroon's like I don't want to cost my team. We know. All right. No one's blaming Pat Maroon for this series. Pat Maroon, they picked up for a bag of rocks. It's anything they get. And obviously Montgomery likes him. He put him on the top line for a couple shifts. He tried to fight Bennett. Bennett wasn't going to fight him. Bennett's got a screwed up finger. He wasn't going to fight him anyway. We know that you can't just go up to him and hit him. And if you were going to do it, that time's gone. You can't do it now because you got to win, unfortunately. You can't lose. I know we're late. I apologize, but all this like physical stuff and all this like sending a message, it's all out the window now because you can't get down a couple goals. Now you got to win. Now our only concern is you getting pucks to the net, which requires shooting, which you don't do. Very good. We'll return.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the FM 81 Bust from the Town Fair Tire Studios, home of the Celtics, Bruins, Revs, and Patriots.
Touchdown, Patriots.
Boston's home for sports is 98.5. The Sports Hub, Easley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics now lead Cleveland 3-1 in their second-round playoff series after a 109-102 win in Ohio last night. Jason Tatum scored 33 points, but the Celtics had a lot of trouble with a team that was missing their top player in Donovan Mitchell.
They test you. They well coached. They play extremely hard. The guys that come off the bench, they compete. You want to match that and, with physicality and pace. Finding the right matchups, whoever we're trying to attack.
Jaylen Brown finished with 27 points in the win as well. Game 5 back at TD Garden tomorrow night. In hockey news, it's do or die for the Bruins. They visit Florida tonight, down 3-1 in that second-round playoff series. Brad Marchand skated yesterday, but did accompany the team down to Florida. He could play tonight. Judd Surratt and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Detroit has re-signed quarterback Jared Goff to a 4-year contract extension worth up to $212 million. Buffalo has signed free agent wide receiver Marquez Valdes-Scantling this morning. And yet another schedule reveal. The Jets will visit San Francisco in the first Monday Night Football game of the season. And the Red Sox lost to Tampa Bay at Fenway Park last night, 5-3. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, keeping drains flowing for homes and businesses in the greater Boston area since 1976. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app.
Good morning on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. Oh, Jesus Christ, for the love of God, subscribe. So we can geo-target your ass.
That'd be a good...
Let Beasley geo-target your ass.
Be a good question to ask Zach next time we have him on for a quiz. Geo-target.
Oh yeah, I learned. Everyone wants to gossip with me, so I'm learning all about all these terminology, all this terminology. It's fun. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning about the syllabuses that get sent out when I've said syllabus many times today. That get sent out when the station is. I found out someone's advertising with the station. That's exciting. Yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Big law firm.
Oh, sweet.
This show.
Huh.
McGowan, that's money in your pocket, baby. And that's all about my relationships.
I was going to say, do you have anything to do with getting that done?
I'm like Hillman. I'm selling my own advertising. Hillman is the smartest guy. Hillman has lived in this business forever. He's a nice guy. Well, not to everyone. He's been a nice guy to me. Apparently, he's a dick to some people Hardy knows. But he... very arrogant, according to what Hardy said. He really pissed this chick off. She just wants to see the bare naked ladies. He blew her off. Anyway, you want to talk about the trial in Canton?
Yeah. I'd rather throw myself and everyone else under the bus than talk about that cat.
So, I know I'm an a-hole, but Hardy lives in Canton and he's Hardy's a nice guy. He's friends with all these people. I even as an a-hole am not bringing up this murder trial in Canton. Because I know it's the worst thing that could happen. Because the minute he would say something about it, everyone would be all over me. That's a move.
Whatever I said about it is going to be taken one way.
Yeah.
And then half the people will then look at me as the enemy. And no matter what I say, and believe me, I don't have firm convictions on this thing because I got nothing to do with it.
Right.
But if you say anything.
Yeah, it's but it's funny because in Canton, this is the biggest, this might be the biggest thing that's ever happened in Canton, Massachusetts, unless there's some Revolutionary War shenanigans.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about Paul Revere and that, place where we had the meal, which none of you guys wanted to take time to go over and really look at some
Nick
of the...
Nicholas, what are you looking at?
That's right.
Nick. He just got concerned. He's it's like a dog when you go, dose! Looks around. So anyway, Hillman sells apparently his own advertising. So that's what I'm doing now.
At the very least, you should get a bird dog from McGowan. Maybe, slide you, a 20 spot or something.
Well, have you seen the Valvoline commercial that Dan Alprin and Hardy did?
Why don't you shut up?
You want to talk about digital marketing? Alprin pulls up and he goes like, Jesus Christ, my car's broken. And here comes Hardy to the rescue.
I believe, and because it's not on TV, it's just on our website, we are allowed to have him say, Jesus effing
nice.
You should see the B-reel.
GD Christ.
Alprin, very racist. Every time he makes a mistake, he takes it off on some minority.
Interesting. I had no idea.
I'm, of course, joking. Dan salt of the earth. Runs marathons.
Does he?
He was in Meatballs.
Does he ever mention
you
it?
You can tell he was in Meatballs. He's got chops.
Does he ever mention it?
Every time I see him.
Oh.
All right. So anyway, this JV operation that is the NHL, it's on True TVA, which is
it was TBS.
No, it was True TV. Well, I'm telling you, it was True TV.
It was both. It was both.
I didn't see it on TBS. I saw it on True TV.
I saw it on TBS.
All right. Well, to me, it was on True TV. I looked at ESPN and it wasn't on there.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. I'm not doing that's Felger's bit. Everyone loves it. I'm not stealing. So I went to my remote. Boston. First of all, have you gone to Indiana into your remote and then it's like the state of Indiana, or if you go
you have to say Indiana
New York
Pacers basketball.
If you go Knicks, it goes Stevie Nicks documentaries.
Yes, I've seen that.
It's a little
Yes,
annoying.
I've had that problem.
So I went Boston Bruins, and it put me on True TV. The Paying has done the games forever, whatever. He's been usurped by Ferraro, chicken parm. But the dummy play-by-play guy sucks, and he spent the whole last 5 minutes of the third period justifying the goal that Bennett scored, and it was annoying, and he was twisting himself up nuts. And by the way, play-by-play guy, when the guy you hire to be the analyst, the expert, is going about something bad happening and not agreeing with the officiating, my take would be to let it go. Don't super serve the people of nowhere, Florida. I would super serve the hockey fan, which is enraged about that goal being allowed.
Or at the very least, questioning the officials. You can't go wrong as an analyst to question what the refs are doing.
That's why you're there.
Yes.
Is to analyze what's going on. And not you, dum-dum. You call what's going on in the game.
Well, they had other things to talk about, Fred.
You know I love my chicken parm, and so I grabbed some chicken parm, as you did, Brendan Burke, and it was a healthy dose of parm. And by the way, Tresca, of course, co-owner Ray Bork, the Hall of Famer and the legend here in the Boston area. Thanks to Billy Jaffe for helping us out and setting us up over there.
It's a fantastic meal, so we're attributing both Swayman's performance and our broadcast to that restaurant, I guess.
I didn't figure that. Did Swayman show up at the restaurant while they were there? Was that part of the thing?
No, they just say that Swayman gets food from there, and Ray Bork can't shut up about this restaurant. And then, but the thing is that you got a free meal. All that on a net. This is like local. This is like a call-in Kiss public access show.
Fred,
which Kiss album is the best? You dedicated 30 seconds of a national television broadcast with a picture of you holding up the Parmesan because Billy Jaffe got you a reservation and you got a free meal?
Yes, and if you get a free meal, you have to say thank you.
Parm. You know I love my chicken parm. And so I grabbed some chicken parm, as you did, Brendan Burke.
Thank you.
Tresca.
Thank you.
Co-owner Ray Bork.
Thank you.
Billy Jaffe for helping us out and setting us up over there.
Fantastic meal.
Thank you.
Chicken parm.
Thank you.
Healthy dose of parm.
Thank you.
So we're attributing both Swayman's performance and our broadcast to that restaurant, I guess.
You don't thank them for the meal, who knows? Maybe next time you go in there, they might actually present you with a bill, and you don't want that.
Can you imagine the Super Bowls? I'm being serious. The Super Bowls in Los Angeles, and Joe Buck and Troy Aikman go, you know what are great? Burritos. And I want to thank, it's $1 million a spot. And they're like, I want to thank Alfredo's in Lomita, California for giving us, they have a burrito as big as your head. And here's a picture
Here's
of it.
a picture of the
and
burrito.
it was the greatest thing ever. I mean, the NHL can't get out of its own way. And this is during the game.
Yeah. They're probably required to acknowledge it and to give thanks.
Tresca, Brady Bork, Billy Jaffe. You know I love my chicken parm.
Is that his name or his nickname?
No, Ferraro's nickname is Chicken Parm.
Because he likes chicken parm.
Yeah,
which is the most unimaginative nickname of all time.
Well, hockey players just add Y. The only original nickname they had was Campbell. They called him
Right.
Soupy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Marshy and Sway.
Yeah,
and-
it's just
yeah.
like dumb.
I'm not gonna fault these guys for having gratitude.
Tresca, Brady Bork, Billy Jaffe. Chicken parm as you did, Brendan Burke. And it was a healthy dose of parm.
I don't know what they're going
What
to
if it's a blowout tonight?
I don't
and
know what
they just start trotting out dishes.
Yeah. A Cubano sandwich is good or very good, and we had one today that was great.
That's right. Found a restaurant who switched from the parm to the piccata.
Yeah, Bake Alaska, ladies and gentlemen. It's between the officiating, the dumb play-by-play guy, and then paying, just losing it, and he goes, take a picture of me with this chicken parm, then send it to the editors and producers of the broadcast, and I want you guys to have this ready. Because this was like there was forethought put into this.
Yes, and carve out some time in the broadcast where we can say thank you.
Tresca, Brady Bork, Billy Jaffe. You know I love my chicken parm.
Thank you. Now back to the hockey.
Well, I took my mom. I feel obligated. I took my mom to the Capitol Grill in Chestnut Hill, and they give us free sides and a free dessert. I didn't ask for it. I mean, I threw my weight around.
And they presented you with cream spinach.
Not cream spinach, but sauteed spinach. Thank you, Johnny. Good call. They gave us macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes.
How much starch do you people need?
I didn't order it. It was.
Did you get a baked potato too?
No, mashed potatoes and sauteed spinach.
Nice.
And then a nice cheesecake.
Oh.
See what happens when the tea's in the building?
Yeah, well.
Starch for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I did a whole spread on Instagram at Fred Toucher. You can check it out.
Influencer that you are.
Yeah. And then I gave
Did you say thank you?
Tresca, Brady Bork, Billy Jaffe. Chicken parm as you did, Brendan Burke. And it was a healthy dose of parm.
That's what you get on True TV.
Yep.
Oh, it was on TBS. Oh, was that before or after they played Young Sheldon? Reruns of Young Sheldon.
Yeah, not all new.
Did you ever turn on TBS and be pissed that baseball's on? Like when they used to have Family Guy.
Oh yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ! I thought Family Guy was
It's 4
on.
o'clock in the afternoon. What the hell is this on for?
Arizona and the Cubs. Just what I want.
Freaking NL day game. Perfect.
Yeah, this was supposed to be Family Guy. Now it's just Friends and Big Bang Theory. You can take TBS.
all right, that's fine.
I'm parked on Comedy Central. They got Seinfeld, and on Thursdays, my friends, Seinfeld runs all mother effing day.
Good day.
Well into the evening. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
It's a good point.
Yeah, that's
I
not
hadn't
in
thought
your,
of that.
Yeah, that's not in your. I'll empty the clip. I'm holding on to
I know.
500 things, but I won't do it.
I know. Hi. It's time for the email bit.
I got one.
All right.
Let's do the email
Are you going to
bit.
do Joe's? Good morning,
no,
gents.
I'm doing one from Dennis.
All
Go
right,
ahead,
this
you
is
do
Joe. Good morning, gents. The Celtics playoff run is like Hardy's Taste of Women, bland and flat like Wonder Bread.
Oh.
Which surprises me that Hardy doesn't enjoy it.
Oh.
That's not short, though.
Sweeney is the only GM here because he was the guy that held up Neely's hair when he would vomit. Well, I'll see the real Celtics in the next year.
Is this Jack?
No, this is Joe. No, this is Joe from
This is
Saugus.
Joe.
This isn't Jack in a Prius.
Okay.
I love Jack in a Prius. Jack in the
It's just
Prius,
so
right?
far-
Jack in the Prius puts mean stuff that I don't feel comfortable reading yet.
Oh, yeah, I know. You can't
that
read
I can't
it.
read yet. We'll see. We'll see when I start reading these.
Yeah.
Just you. I got a lot. I'm holding it.
All right.
I'll open it on Christmas Day. Blow this whole thing up. Well, I'll see the real Celtics in the next series when it's 3-3 and Tatum's injures his ankle. And if they do make the finals, Jokic will eat them for dinner. Lastly, how did John enjoy his years on the Muppet Show as Sam the Eagle?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
All right, Hardy. You had one?
From Dennis. Morning, Hardy. Let me preface this by saying I virtually know nothing about hockey, but I love the Bruins, and they're acting scared from the top, Sweeney, to the bottom, Maroon. As far as the comments from Montgomery, I don't blame him. If he criticizes the officials of the league, he'll be reprimanded. I can't blame him. He handled himself as well as he could. But the comments from Maroon, dude, you were brought in to give us some muscle and avoid the team from being pushed around. Not to be a goon, but someone who could at least stand up to the dirtier players. And the press conference, what a freaking joke. To me, Sweeney is basically waving the white flag and telling Florida, well, there's nothing we can do, so you may as well give up. Panthers must be laughing and licking their chops after that. As far as the Bruins players, does this give them a single ounce of confidence or hope for tonight?
No.
If I was a Bruins player, I'd be thinking, in the words of the great Bill Paxton and Aliens, game over, man, game over. Thank you for letting me vent, Dennis.
And this one from JB. Ever since the ref tackled the Bruins guy, they've taken them out of the game with BS penalties. Like we've been saying, the basketball guys want the Knickerbockers to win. The Hockey League wants the Bruins to lose.
I don't know why the league would want Florida to win, but I mean, you can't just dismiss it like out of hand. I mean, if I was making, if there was, okay, let's put it this way. Do this exercise. Remember the BU cheating scandal, like the basketball cheating,
BC.
shaving points? BC,
Yes.
sorry. BC,
Yep.
Yeah, BU, who would bet on it? BC point shaving scandal.
Yes.
And like Henry Hill was a part of it, and it's like any
In the
Henry Hill.
70s, yeah.
So if I told you, like 10 years from now, all right, did you hear about the NHL betting scandal? There was this betting scandal in the NHL, and I presented this series as evidence, you would be like, oh my God, like they really were obvious about it. Like they're tackling Bruins players. Like if I used game 5 or game 4 as a litmus, you would be like, oh my God, like they truly wanted Florida to win this game. So as much as it doesn't make logical sense, why would the league want Sunrise, Florida? They'd won an original 6 team. If it was the Rangers, Bruins, it would be like incredible for the league. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how they went to Toronto with that goal call and didn't overturn it. I don't know why the game. Maybe they feel if Florida's in it, they can get their games on a network that doesn't have police chases all day. And maybe they can get a play-by-play guy. I'd rather listen to this kid that does the Bruins game or the Celtics games than this moron play-by-play guy. I haven't hated a play-by-play guy like this in a very long time.
If there was ever a series that would scream Jack Edwards, this would scream Jack Edwards.
I'd much rather
Can you
hear
imagine
Jack Edwards.
how much Jack would have lost his mind over the last 3 or 4 days?
It would have been vastly superior. Anyone would be vastly superior to this guy slipping all over the place trying to defend the league. Even if I was a Florida fan, I'd be like, shut up. It's a 1-goal game. Shut up. Call the action on the ice or don't say anything.
Right.
That's the thing that Gorman did. Gorman knew when to shut up. That's the thing about being a play-by-play guy that's not on the radio. The radio, it's very difficult.
No choice.
You're the eyes of everyone.
Yes.
But on TV, you can shut up. Like no one's insulted a play-by-play guy outside of the industry for not talking enough. Like, just shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up. Shut up and shut up and let him analyze.
Now, what'd you think of Doc Emmerich?
Perfect.
See, now I liked, but he talked a lot, but it was okay because he was
describing
lyrical
without
almost,
being over the top,
with almost poetic about it, and he's just a guy that you can't dislike him.
I don't dislike Pang necessarily. I mean, I'm glad he got free food. Obviously, he's hard up for money, so I'm not going to diss that guy. I'm talking about the play-by-play guy. And then if you're banging and the play-by-play guy is pushing back on you that hard when you're criticizing the officials, like he probably is like, "What's going on?"
Not
like,
only that,
he's probably going to someone talking in his ear and like telling him to tell me to shut
It
up.
wasn't only that. He went on and on and on, and then doubled back on himself, and then continued.
My
my
problem is not, as a Bruins fan, I didn't want to hear him justifying the rule. That's not it at all. If he could justify the rule and do it succinctly, this is what. Hey, here it's Rule 69. And this is the rule, and this is why they called it this way, because they technically can't, call a cross-check, and there has to be a penalty. That's like kind of what he was trying to say, even though it's wrong. It's him doubling back and stumbling all over himself.
It's like 5 minutes of real time where this is happening. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're sitting and watching a game, it's a long time to go through that.
It's a long time. You're aggravated, and the Bruins aren't out of the game. It's still a game.
It's 2-2.
Well, no. At this point, it was 3-2. They doubled. They went back to it in the third period. When he really, really went on, it was the third period. I'm telling you, John, it was like even strength, 5-on-5 in a 1-goal game in the third period of the playoffs, and this guy's tripping all over himself trying to explain incorrectly a rule. Like, if the league's going to get mad at him, since when does Gary Bettman have any power? You get the biggest celebrity you can get to your award show is Cuba Gooding Jr. now, and he's wrapped up in the Diddy scandal.
Keep talking about Rule 69, though. I'm not going to get any complaints from me.
Boo, boo.
John just
I'm finished.
Sit on my face.
That's right. So
and you look at me like, all right,
and now
fine.
Your turn to comment on it, John. Yes,
because every time I see you, I just picture your lifeless body.
You're just looking at me like I expect a response. I have no response. Good for you for pointing that out. Congratulations.
I love it. You're so free sexually.
Well, technically not. Not in that case. Not really.
No, I'm confined by huge buttocks.
Do they put a heart monitor on you so they can see just when you're about to
Get
go?
her off!
There are paddles on the side of the bed, just in case.
Wallach's going to be in the remake of Flatliners, where instead of injecting him and putting the
Fatliners.
Fatliners. Just, all right, you're going to visit the other side, John. All right, take me there.
I told you.
He's coding.
No, there's a Lizzo line I won't cross. We talked about
Well,
this.
then there could be facial damage.
Yes.
At that point, you're up the creek.
Somebody took issue with my rant on the NBA earlier and for the pace of play in the games.
Johnny Walker.
Matthew said, too bad the NBA doesn't have the same sparked pace of play as golf, which puts the whole country to sleep, including those who produce the Sports Hub Golf Club. See, that's not nice.
Joseph Gorder,
no,
who is the former CEO of Valero Energy, he's been elected as the PGA Tour Enterprises Board of Directors chairman.
Sometimes less is more.
Now
people.
he's also going to head up this transaction.
For everyone
committee.
thinks that you should grab every
Joe
job out
Ogilvy
there
will be on there
and never
along
say
with
no.
John Henry.
This is evidence
John
that
Henry?
indeed you should
remember
say
that
no.
Story?
You cannot put.
Oh darn! It cut out.
Yeah, and no one heard it cut out.
That's awful.
One guy, he got one email.
Oh,
one
is that
email
right?
that the show cut
You got
off.
one email.
He didn't even know the show cut off. There's 2 people on the planet that know that show cut off. There's one person, maybe Ryan Beaton, and maybe not.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what Matthew is inferring here, that Beaton fell asleep. And
No, I
went
understand.
Went on for a long time. Do you? Because I'm not sure I've been insulted enough. Let me explain it to you.
You're
this
the
way.
one who brought it up and played it and read the email.
Not even the only other person listening was listening.
He put this thing in this Slack chain that we have. He's like, yeah, conspiracy. Did you guys hear this?
Yeah.
The golf show. No one heard the golf show.
Didn't hear it. No.
This is evidence, Hardy, that you need to cut back the amount of jobs you're doing.
All right.
You're falling asleep during the air.
No, he's very, very vested into the Sports Hub Golf Club. He can get rid of the.
I know why
stuff.
he did the Sports Club Golf Club.
But I mean, this is his baby. This is his thing. I don't think he's gonna. He may cut out every other job, but he's keeping that one.
No, but I thought he was cutting out all these jobs, and then he has the Patriots.com guy on, and he's like, he's thinking about doing it again. This is really happening. I thought when Hardy got the morning show that he was going to, like, part of the appeal of doing the morning show was that financially he didn't have to do these.
I got a kid headed to college like in a year, and there's.
How much does Patriots.com pay? Is it?
How much money do you make, Fred?
No. I'm not asking how much money you make. Okay. I'm asking how much does a side gig pay. For instance, what did? I'll give you an example.
We've done these percentages before.
NBC Sports Boston paid what? Was it $240 a show? No, $120. Is $120 or $240 a show? That's how much I made, and you signed a form. So, like, say you made. I think some guests here make $50. I'll give you like side gigs. I'm not asking how much money you make.
Okay.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you how much money you make for a side gig. There's a big difference.
Okay. And I'll tell you this. I gave up the Monday through Friday satellite gig. That was the first thing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that's gone.
Okay.
I don't do that. Come on. Not doing that anymore.
It's ridiculous to think you would keep that.
All I do is Monday through Friday on Rock 92.9, afternoons from 4 to 7.
That used to be a live person in studio, by the way.
Satellite Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, you do satellite Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, lithium. And then the Sports Hub Golf Club Sunday mornings. And that's it.
And Patriots.com.
No, I don't know. If they would.
Do you make 5 figures doing Patriots.com? That's over $10,000.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, then I'd keep the gig, too.
Yep.
I thought they paid you like
However,
$100 a game.
There's probably at least one Monday night game, at least 1 or 2 Thursday night games in there.
Yeah,
you have 4 o'clock games. I know they play out on the West Coast back-to-back weeks. Or that's the theory anyway. So, I mean,
when you break it down like per game day, and if they were if I would be honored if they wanted me back, and they wanted me to work a few like 1 o'clock games, that'd be great. But if they get another host and the host is going to be there for every single game, then I'm not going to do it. Of course, whatever. It's fine.
Got
I
an
heard
email.
Sarge is going for
Got
it.
an email from Josh. I was listening. I'm the third guy. I heard it cut out.
And I don't believe him.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, check the IP address of that and see if it came from within the building.
There's one guy from Weymouth who calls in on a pretty regular basis, and by pretty regular, I would say like twice every year. He'll call in during the Sports Hub. I've been doing it for 12 years now. This is the 12th year of the Sports Hub Golf Club. And he works at a golf course in Weymouth. He's out on the mower.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's listening to the show as he's out like cutting greens.
That
first
reminds
thing in the
me,
morning.
when I was on AM 1170 in Cumming, Georgia, a kid would call me every day and ask if it was going to rain. That's what the Sports Cup Golf Show is. They ask him if it's going to rain.
Did they ask
what time
for
the Red
weather
Sox
reports?
play.
You see, that's the thing. I could see people calling Hardy.
Oh, on a
Why don't
Sunday
people
morning? Absolutely.
Call for weather reports. Is it going to rain today? How are the courses look? You don't get calls like that?
By the way, this week on the Sports Hub Golf Club, just yesterday, I spoke with the CEO of Golf Tech, and some of their technology is going to be on display this week during the PGA Championship. And tomorrow, I'm visiting Core Golf in Natick, and we're going to have conversations with Ian Highfield and many of the other instructors out there. I'm going to be out there tomorrow, and I can't wait. I love it. I love that part of it.
Yeah, you're like the radio version of chicken parm. But the kid
healthy dose.
The kid who said that is it going to rain?
Yeah.
I learned quickly. You say no in every scenario because if you said yes.
Oh boy.
He did not like that.
Oh boy.
No, he was he was no fan of rain.
Okay.
So he would call up and he'd go, "Is it going to rain?" And I'm not imitating him, but he'd call up and he'd go, "Is it going to rain?" And nice guy, like kid, and you're like, and so and one time I'm like, "Yeah, I think it might rain." No. I never did that again.
Tailspin.
I would try to give away tickets and no one would call. I would get 0 calls. There's just dead air. I just broadcasting to nothing. I started playing games. It was before like phones, like iPhones and stuff. There was a computer down the hall, and I would see how close I could guess to the end of a song before I could run into the studio. That was a game I played.
Just to keep you interested.
Just to keep me interested.
Yeah.
And to make sure the preachers that were testifying when they were strapped weren't going to kill me. We'd have preachers come in and they'd go, "I was addicted to heroin," and their shirt would come up and they'd be carrying a concealed weapon.
We have Sports Hub Golf Club fans like coming out of the woodwork here on Twitter and email.
Thank you.
I also heard it cut out. I just tried to sneak out as early as possible to get flowers for Mother's Day and just happened to have 98.5 on the dial. I got you, Hardy.
Thank you.
This from Eric.
That should be your promo. I went out to get flowers for Mother's Day and I just happened to have you on the dial and heard the show go out. Boom. Sports Golf Show. All right, we'll return. Now, here is something that everyone's concerned about. It is the stack, Hardy.
Yes, many things to get to in the stack, and one of the items in the stack is something that might require more attention, and I'm going to ask you about it in the stack, but we might give it like a full segment tomorrow, Fred. So there'll be a little show planning in the stack.
All right. How exciting. All right, so we'll have that for you. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Jason Tatum had 33 points and 11 rebounds. The Celtics won in Cleveland last night, 109-102 in Game 4 of that second-round playoff series. And as a result, Celtics now lead 3-1. They host Cleveland tomorrow night at TD Garden in Game 5. The Bruins will visit Florida tonight in Game 5, down 3-1 in that second-round playoff series. Judd Surratt and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Brad Marchand is with the team after skating yesterday, and Tampa Bay beat the Red Sox 5-3 at Fenway Park in the opener of a 4-game series. Nick Pivetta starts tonight as the two teams play again at Fenway Park. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti and Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, the hair doctor of Hardy and Brian Scalabrine at 1-800-GET-HAIR. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 10 o'clock.
list from the show. It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Yo, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Every moment more with FanDuel. Foursomes for the 13th annual Who's Your Caddy. Golf outing will go on sale today at 10 a.m. Visit 985thesportshub.com/caddy or visit the homepage. That's Monday, June 10th at Brook Meadow Country Club. It's $900 per foursome. That includes 18 holes of golf cart, the best gift bag we've had yet. 2 sleeves of golf balls, maybe. And a post-round lunch, live auction, 50-50 raffle, and more. Are you hosting the auction?
I probably. You'll be hosting part of it. I'm sure.
I will.
Yeah.
Only if there's
gonna be there.
Revolution items.
You know, Maz will take part. Beetle and Zoe are broadcasting live, so they don't want to stick around for the auction. Maybe they won't because they're going to be on the air the whole day.
All right. Proceeds, once again, will benefit the Pediatric Advanced Care Team at Boston Children's Hospital. Thank you to Long Drink, FootJoy, PXG, Bose, the Boston Bruins Foundation, and Brook Meadow Country Club. And Hardy, there was an auction, you're telling me, to play golf with you and I, or to play golf with Felger and Maz, and there was a Gronkowski ball. You wanted to tell me on air what the results of said auction were.
Yeah, I mean, I've got like roundabout numbers. The Rob Gronkowski football, I think, went for over $500. So, and according to like memorabilia estimates, that was a healthy number. It could have been maybe even closer to 1,000. I'm not sure. The chance to play golf with me and you, Fred. So somebody was bidding on for themselves and a guest to play an hour foursome. Last time I had checked, it was at 1,600 something, and then it went up to it jumped. It made a huge jump, as these auctions tend to, and the final number was just over $3,300 is what you and I brought in to play golf with 2 people, which I felt pretty good about.
And you know them?
I have no idea who it is. I'll ask Kelly today if she at least has their name. And
so it wasn't like an inside job.
No. Well, the inside job, if there is one or was one, has to be with Felger and Maz. Ended up going for over $7,000.
Wow.
Oh. So the good news is, between those 3 items, golf with me and you, golf with Felger and Maz, and the Rob Gronkowski signed football, which I'm sure we got from the Patriots. Thank you to the Patriots. We raised, before this thing even starts and goes on sale today, $11,000 for the Pediatric Advanced Care Team at Boston Children's Hospital. $11,000, and we haven't even started the fundraising
great.
yet. So, well done, Freddie. Really
That's
well
a lot
done.
of pressure on Felger and Maz to entertain.
Yeah,
the
they're
going to
have to be on.
How much you want to bet they're friends of Felger's? I'll bet you anything they're friends of Felger's.
Well, good for them.
No, I'm not. But I'm just saying, because now that it's done, the exercise is over.
Yes.
I mean, if you have a lot of responsibility, if someone paid over $7,000 to be in your company for 4 hours,
twice as much as you guys got, does seem a little fishy.
Well, no, the paper that Dan just handed me, we were at $3,300 and they were at $1,500.
Oh, no.
And then it exploded.
Shot up to over 7,000. And
it's one of those Kennedys that Felger rubs elbows with.
Well, here's the thing. Maz called me last night, and I talked to Maz on the phone, I don't know, twice a week, maybe. So I just thought it was his normal, he's driving home, call, lonely, wants to chit-chat a little bit. And I think he called under the guys to thank both me and you for agreeing to do this because of all the money he raised. But I think it was a little bit to gloat about how much money he and Felger got for their foursome. So
it doesn't mean anything. All right.
Caitlin Clark is making her debut tonight.
And Greg Doyle will not be there. He's banned. The Indianapolis Star reporter who did the weird thing of I don't understand any aspect of it. I don't understand what he was doing. I don't understand why her. I don't understand anything that went on there, but I was out of town, so it's not my business.
No, I think the understanding is that he's a big creepy weirdo.
I just don't understand why he was doing it to Caitlin Clark of all people, and like he wanted her to make a heart shape to him. like he's in love with Caitlin Clark?
I don't know.
Very big for Indiana basketball having her there.
I understand that. I don't understand why he's in love with Caitlin Clark enough to behave like that at a press conference.
I don't know.
It seems like an odd person to choose to risk your career on.
I will say this, though. All eyes are going to be in Connecticut tonight as she makes her debut against the Connecticut Sun. Zolak and Bertrand are broadcasting live.
Zolak should be in good shape.
After having spent the night down there last night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember when we were down there with Roach and...
was that Mohegan or Foxwoods?
Whatever. It was one of them. But
right next to the Pai Gow Poker Room. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they put us where the action was, the Pai Gow Poker Room at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
A lot of smoke.
According to a text I received from Beetle last night, the remote broadcast location is, quote, situated in the most exposed location we've ever had. Should be all-time foot traffic nonsense on TV. And this is the same place where I did a show down there with those guys, and we had like our lunch on the table in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
But they had us just like outside in between two places, like on the concourse leading from one set. There's 3 casinos at Mohegan Sun,
right?
So we're in the concourse leading from one to the other, and people literally stopped by these casino local regulars and picked food off of our plates as they were walking past. A couple of French fries. Couple of onion rings.
Those are the same people that walk the halls looking for used room service?
Yeah, I thought it was a buffet.
Of course it was, because all casinos have that. Go ahead.
Having said that, checking in with them a little while ago, our chief engineer, Dennis Knudsen, telling me that they were looking for some sort of barrier between the tables and the quote-unquote people, because after he'd set up the entire table, someone came over and was just like picking up the headphones to put them on. Like, he was like, trying to get somebody from security. Can we get some sort of a barrier between us?
That's great.
Are there liquor rules there? Like, can you drink at like 6 o'clock in the morning there?
I'm not sure.
That's a good question. I would think so.
If not, I'd say 8 a.m. would be the...
I mean, they might have their own self-imposed,
Right. But I mean, if they had legalized gambling there, they obviously have their own set of laws.
Yeah.
So there could be people good and drunk by noon.
Wow.
Noon on a Tuesday... Mohegan Sun from the night before.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, if we had a chance to cross over.
Doing some nose beers.
Dan, if they're around and they want to pop on, let me know. NFL schedule won't come out officially until tomorrow, but
Mad Dog is very excited.
All the leaks coming out. Yes, big schedule day for fans and teams. And Tom Brady, we know when his debut is going to come as an analyst, when the Browns host the Cowboys on September 8th.
That's not a good game.
4:25. Apparently, this is an exclusive window. They're all television broadcasts nationally are off except for Fox. Fox has the only NFL game on free TV at that point.
Wow.
And that's the Cowboys Browns affair.
Yes.
Okay.
I hear the boys.
I do.
Hey,
John. Deshaun Watson. How are you guys exposed to the public?
Very much so. Right in the middle. Very much so. Can you see us in the monitor yet or no?
No, they don't put it on.
We've had 3 old people already just stop and glance. They come by, they stand for about 10 seconds. But I told Louth on the way down, I'm going to go over and hit this convenience store, and I'm just going to put some things out, a couple candy bars, some waters. Let's see which ones actually come and take something.
Well, you just have to wait until your lunch gets delivered and have it there on the table, and they'll come by and just pick French fries off.
Hardy, you remember that Scorpion Bar brought us over a spread, and they just, come over. Yeah. That was great.
There's no other place on the planet where that would happen except the casino in the morning.
Fred, we did the opening for that Wynn Sportsbook at Encore, and they brought out this massive spread from Rare. It was like a buffet. And it was roped off, red ropes. And we were doing the live broadcast. This old woman came and sat right behind me. And I moved, and they're like, put her on. Don't put her on. I'm like, no, put her on air.
Yeah.
Somebody come get your mother.
We did not. And I think to our credit, we said, no. Please just let her eat. Just let her eat.
There was just one guy who came up and wanted to play a game of 20 questions.
Like,
what is this? What are you doing? Are you doing the game?
Where are you guys
well, then
from?
why are you here? Where are you from? I'm like, oh, my God.
What's this mean?
Did you just go shut up?
What do you think? What do you think?
No,
it
I
means?
started answering these questions, and then then I kind of was like, I'm trying to get this thing going here, trying to log into 14 different things. Then he just started pestering Kelly with questions. So I was like, okay.
That's why you're there, man, to answer questions.
Yeah. Hey, guys, enjoy the game tonight.
What time's the meet and greet? Where's Caitlin Clark? I don't know, man.
Where's Caitlin Clark? Oh, she's right here. She's under the table. She'll be popping
right
up
behind
at any
that door.
moment.
Ta-da!
Yeah, where's Caitlin Clark?
One woman stopped and said, I see that there are bottles of water on the table. That must mean the players are coming out. I'm like, no, those are our bottles of water. This is our table.
Only basketball players drink water.
I was like, what?
Right.
Yeah, the game was at 6 a.m. You missed it. Yeah, they're done. They're real thirsty. They come out into the concourse of the casino and drink water off the table. All right.
Sold out arena here tonight, though.
Of course.
Sold out.
She's a huge star. I
Hot
mean,
ticket.
of course.
What's up?
All right.
Yeah.
You guys enjoy yourselves out there. Which one are you at? Mohegan Sun?
Mohegan Sun, the nice one.
They're at Mohegan Sun. Very good. Thank you guys. Enjoy yourselves. That'll do it for us. Everyone enjoy your day. Bye.